Champ, you want to come sing? You want to come sing, buddy? That dog is loudy. All right, here's the deal. Tell all your friends to come. It says there's one person in here, but I see more of you in here. You're tapping away. All right. So it is possible we can we can stream the Oprah thing, but apparently ABC's got some weird fucked up thing. I thought we could watch it on Hulu, and it said streaming on Hulu tomorrow. So I just signed up for a trial for some fucking TV network that's ridiculously expensive. So hopefully this works. I'm on ABC right now. I'm apparently on the channel that it's going to be on. But it's possible it switches to my local news instead of the Oprah special. So this could be a bust. Welcome to Janky TV. All right, I'm back from Washington. My back is still fucked up. It's hot. I'm cranky. I'm stressed out. Kyle, sign up on YouTube TV free trial. Okay, yeah, maybe I should do that too. Hang on. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's see. Subscriptions. Let's see. YouTube TV. Sign up and try YouTube TV. 10 days for free. Now you guys got to help me unsubscribe to all this shit. Start free trial. Base plan. Probably in the base plan. No? More info. Of course they're not alphabetical. Of course they're not alphabetical. All plans include local channels. $65 a month. What happened to everything streaming being cheaper? Unbelievable. Next, checkout. Did you watch the debate? Okay, Taylor Swift did. Kamala Harris begging for money. Let's see. Can we search? Let me go back to Fubo TV. Choose your favorites and we'll skip. Dismiss. All right, ABC World News Tonight. Okay, so there's ABC. Denver 7, popular now. Okay, I think we have it. I still have your card number. You can skip this. Here we go. What time is it? 58. Good Lord. It doesn't need to be this stressful, people. Look, my hair's all tall. What's happening? What's happening? All right. Let's go over to Fubo TV. That says it's got 3 minutes left.
Airlock on the spacecraft, so all 4 members of the crew were exposed to the vacuum of space while that hatch was open.
Close player.
Vertical translation.
The crew is expected to come home early Sunday, splashing down off the coast of Florida. And tonight they say they are now one step closer to eventual bases on the moon.
Hey, everybody. What's happening, Ann Murphy?
History made, and what a beautiful view of Earth. Thank you for watching here on a Thursday night. I'm David Muir. We'll see you right back here tomorrow from all of us here. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.
Opie?
Right now it's 6. A brush fire in northern Colorado shuts down a busy interstate for hours.
Dry air and gusty winds fuel fire danger on this Weather Action Day.
Hot temperatures and gusty winds. A fire weather warning continues until 8 p.m.
Plus, disturbing testimony in the Boulder King Supers trial.
I stood there.
All right. Where's that? Let's see. Live now on Fox. Wait, what do I do, Brandon? On YouTube TV, click Live and find your local ABC affiliate. Live. Local ABC affiliate. See, this says Denver 7 News.
This is Mike Nelson joining us with a first check of the forecast.
We hit 93 today. That's the 61st day of 90 or hotter so far this summer, and way above the average of.
So, I thought it was on 8 p.m. Change your time zone. Oh my God. How do I change my time zone? Ah! Change your location, Kyle. Great. How do I do that? Let's see. Manage your account. Location, Denver area. Current playback area. Let's see. Update. Update home area. Allow us to access your location so we can serve the right. Verify your current area. Started, I know. Is there any truth to the Aurora thing? I don't fucking know. No, Central Time. How do I change it? Area. Let's see. We go here. CC. Oh, this is gonna be a fucking womp womp. Lie, Kyle, lie. I don't know if I can. It's saying, let's see, update current playback area, update location. See, it's just getting it from my GPS. Go back and click on AI, Future of Everything. YouTube TV. No thanks. Can I search? Search. AI Future. Got it. Airs today at 7. So this is an hour from now? Looks like it's going to be in an hour. Go back and click on AI Future of Everything. I just had an interview today. I'm scared of interactions like that. Okay, I got it now on Fubo. Okay, so we got it on Fubo. Jesus. Here we go. Play channel. It's not playing yet. God damn it. It's on now, I believe. Oh, I believe that too. Then you must be in EST. Maybe you're delayed in time zones in Denver. Live on YouTube TV. Where? Where? Oprah. AI. Future of Us. It says airs today at 7. This is why I can't live in Denver anymore. This is unbelievable. What the hell happened to TV? Where can I watch Oprah Live? Well, apparently you're going to watch it here. Are you going to stream it? I can't get it to fucking work. Invite Brandon to share his screen and join your live. All right, we can do that. Or we can watch it in an hour. I finally found it on my local channel. Oh my God. This is so frustrating. Well, I guess we'll do it in an hour. It's on cable TV. No, it's on cable TV if you have networks and you're not in Denver, apparently. Yeah, I know it's on now, Source Camp. I'm very well aware of that. This is a yeah, Hulu's streaming it tomorrow. That's what I found out at half an hour ago. It's on ABC. I know that, but you can't watch ABC anywhere. That's my problem. The Seminars will be here in an hour. All right. I don't have enough subscriptions. My TV provider is blocking it due to Disney. This is unbelievable. This whole fucking fragmentation of the media is just... It's going to be convenient. You can watch whatever you want. Unless you want to watch something. Oh, my God. All right, well... All right. I'm in California and will be sure we'll be watching it from you. My TV provider is blocking it due to Disney. Yeah, I just subscribed to $150 worth of subscriptions so I could watch it, but they're not letting me watch it for an hour. So we can watch it. We'll watch it at the top of the hour. Yeah, there you go. All right. Fantastic. So I'm trying to think what I want to do. Oh, this sucks. I am so tired of capitalism. I really am. Deregulate it. It'll be great for everyone. Search ABC. ABC. Oprah. Play channel. News. I gotta see this numbnuts. She's interviewing Sam right now. Thanks, Dr. J. Tell us about Washington. All right. I guess we'll call that a punt. We'll get the dog singing. All right, so let me tell you about Washington. So I went to Washington Tuesday night, had a nice dinner at a Georgian restaurant. Like Georgia, the country. I don't know how to describe the food. It's kind of like, Mediterranean food where you got all the fresh veggies and olives and hummus and shit. Remove the olives and hummus. Add in more pickled cabbage. That's pretty much it. A lot of vegetables. And then, so what we did was on Wednesday, there were 12 of us there, 12 AI entrepreneurs, and they basically had schedules. I got paired up with a guy named George, who was awesome. He's lives in St. Louis, and he's got a company that does AI robotics, lawnmowers for like big grassy areas like airports and, municipal parks and shit like that, where you've got many, many acres that need to be mowed. and basically no one wants to do the jobs. He found out that there's like basically a labor shortage of people that don't just want to mow the lawn for 8 hours, in the blasting sun. Who knew? And so that's his business. He's cool. He had a PhD in robotics and mechanical engineering. He's like 3 years into that business. Sounds like it's going pretty good. And so we went to the first office we went to was Senator Budd out of North Carolina. And we met with all of these, we met with a staffer. So far, all political. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Don't tell me what's going on the Oprah thing. I'll just watch it and pretend like it's live. But what we could do, so OpenAI did launch today Strawberry. It's called O1. So you have GPT 4.0, GPT 4.0, and this new one is called O1. I don't know what they're fucking doing. Anyway, back to Washington. So we can play with it. I played with it a little bit. I got it about an hour before I left work, and played with it a little bit. And it's interesting what it does. So I have some thoughts already. Okay, so with all of these people, we met with staffers. And meeting with staffers is really interesting because sometimes you get staffers that are educated about your topic. So the group that helped organize this, they set up all these meetings. This is what they do. So they know everyone, and they try to get sort of the highest, most relevant staffer, for these meetings. And the first one we went to was a North Carolina thing. It was George and I, and Kathy from the RxN group, and then this woman, I forget her name, who was from North Carolina, who also had an AI startup. And so we just introduced ourselves. So the constituent, the one from North Carolina, went first, and she said, here's my thing. And then George talked about his thing, and then I talked about my thing. And we all kind of had our message for the staffer. And the basic idea is you're just trying to educate them on what message you want to get out. So the message that I wanted to get out was, there's a couple of major ones. One is a lot of the legislation right now is legislating the technology as opposed to the use of the technology. And so Kathy actually had a really good analogy to this. So if you talk about cloud computing, we don't regulate cloud computing. But if you're storing healthcare information in the cloud, that's covered under HIPAA regulations. If you're doing financial services data, that's covered under financial services regulation. But you're not actually regulating the tech. What's happening with AI is they're regulating the tech, and it's sort of sweeping all the use cases up into it that might not be relevant for that piece of regulation. That's kind of what happened in Colorado. So part of it was just be mindful of how you're writing the regulations, because it's sweeping up small businesses and it's sweeping up use cases that might not be relevant. So the protection is good, but the execution's really bad. I also wanted to talk about the difference between generative AI and AI as we've known it before, right? So if you think about AI's been around for decades, and a lot of the perception is just AI is just this one thing. And what I talked about was, this community. So I was there. We were the salon was the representative organization that was going around to these groups. And so I was talking about the salon and all of you and saying, this group was started the week after ChatGPT came out, and I get to witness daily people reinventing themselves and reinventing their businesses. And I mentioned, Jim Ross, he said on a call the other day, he feels like he's functioning like a 10-person company, and he's a solopreneur. That statement got people to sit up. They were like, "Oh, that's really interesting." The staffer from Bud's office was smart. He was taking a lot of notes. He was asking questions. He was basically saying things like, "We hear you. This is a really important issue." He kind of said there's not going to be anything coming from the feds for probably 2 or 3 years, and to which I said, "So are we going to have a patchwork quilt of nightmarish state-by-state laws?" And he goes, "Yeah, probably." I said, "Well, that sucks. So could you pass that along?" Oh, this was really fascinating. So on the flight out there, I was sitting next to a woman, and she was the executive director for a what's it called? Foundation that supports civil engineers. And I said, "Are you using ChatGPT?" You know, I did my obnoxious AI evangelism bullshit that I do. And she said she had tried it, but not really. And she said, "Well, I do a lot of like writing and press releases and things like that, and I don't want it's got to sound like me." And so I said, "Well, here's some ways you can make it sound like you." And I told her about take some of your writing and put it in a document and upload it to ChatGPT, and it'll start writing like you. And I was giving her ideas, and she was taking notes. And then we started talking. Oh, I said, "You know, what are you going to Washington for?" And she was doing some lobbying, and I said, "Oh, I'm doing some lobbying." And I said, "I actually testified against the Colorado bill." And she goes, "Oh, that bill, yeah." She goes, "I didn't know where you stood on that. I didn't want to say anything." But she says, so to give you some context of the Colorado bill passed and was signed into law by Governor Polis with a signing statement that effectively said, "This law is a piece of crap. I have grave concerns that it, sweeps up small businesses. So please fix it before it goes into effect in late 2025, early 2026. And she knew the law, and she said to me, "I have made a strategic decision not to use ChatGPT in any way, or any generative AI in any way, because the way that law is written, I don't want to put in a year or two of learning how to do something for my business, changing my processes, and then ending up with a regulatory burden sitting on top of that 2 years from now." So I had an actual specific example of the chilling effect of that kind of legislation. That this is someone who's got a big statewide foundation for all the civil engineers in the state, and is actively not using ChatGPT because of that law, or not using AI because of that law. Welcome to the AI Learning Lab. We'll be watching the Oprah interview live with Kyle at 7 because I live in fucking Denver. And all of the channels have been deregulated and decoupled, and Disney is an asshole. There you go. There you have it. What if I want to watch the show? Oh, sorry, you can't. But you can stream it live tomorrow on Hulu. No, I want to watch it live now. Oh yeah. Oh hey yeah. We have a response to that. Maybe you could go on ahead and go fuck yourself. Does that work for you? So we'll be watching Opie. You can have AI, and you can have AI, and you can have AI. We'll be doing that in 45 minutes, 42 minutes. Okay, so that was the Bud meeting. The next meeting I had was with Josh Hawley of Missouri. George, who I was with, is from Missouri, so we had a different handler for the Josh Hawley thing. I'm not a fan of his, but we didn't meet with any of the senators, so it doesn't matter. We're just meeting with staffers. But who we met with was someone who was counsel, so an actual lawyer from the Hawley office. And he was wicked smart. Like, he knew the issues, he knew the laws. Like, when I would say things like, you know, small companies get swept up in this overly broad legislation, he was like, well, how is it too broad? Tell me specifically. So he was really digging in on specific things. And so there was probably 10 minutes of just harsh cross-examination, let's say. And I think we did good. I think we navigated the cross-examination well. And he was a bit more pragmatic. He said, I think he was the first one that said to us, he said, yeah, the AI stuff was really hot for a while, and it's not now. Right? Because, we've experienced that on this channel, that there's this kind of lull in AI news and excitement. Well, it translated to Capitol Hill. And so basically, if it's not a hot topic, things tend to take longer. If it's a hot topic, they rush it through. So that was kind of another indication that we're probably not going to see anything. We've got 2 weeks left in the legislative session now. Then we go into election season. Then you go into lame duck. So nothing's going to really happen until 2025. And if AI is not a big hot topic, then probably nothing's going to happen for 2025. So that was some more of that. We got in some of our message to him. He took notes. He was super engaged. He was super he was appreciative that we were there. He didn't really want to be there. He's like, I got lawyer shit to do, but go ahead. This is part of my job. He had a little bit of that attitude. So that was that. Let's see. I'm trying to think who else we went to. We can all watch it with you. Okay, let's see. So those two were senators. Then I think we took a lunch break. Yeah. And then my next meeting was with Diana DeGette, who's a congressman. So we were in the Senate building, which is on one side of the Capitol, and then the House building is on the other side of the Capitol. And it's like, you can look across and see the other building, but it's like a long walk, and it was hot. And so we were taking cars. So you would basically take a car basically around the block, but it was a big, long block. And so what's fascinating is, so if you haven't ever been there, I haven't ever been in the bowels of these buildings. The Senate, because the senators have more power, right? Because there's only 2 per state. Their offices are a little swankier. And, swanky's not quite the right word, but, very lawyerly and big. And the House offices are a little janky. So we're in DeGette's office, and some other congressman came in, and I was shooting the shit with him, and he was a little anti-AI. He was a little nasty, but he was fine. But the person we were supposed to meet with was in some other meeting. And then there was a whole group of people in this teeny little office. And they're like, okay, we can meet with you now. But there's nowhere for us to meet. So can we just meet in the hallway? So this gaggle of 8 people sort of scurries out of the office. And they're holding the meeting just outside the door. And then we're still sitting there. We're supposed to be meeting a half hour's gone by. Our meeting has sort of come and gone. And this very pleasant woman comes out and she says, sorry, the staffer you're supposed to meet with is still busy, but I'll meet with you. And she goes, we don't have anywhere to meet, so can we just meet in the hallway? So we're out in the hallway. There's this gaggle of 8 people screaming. There's people walking by. There's other meetings happening in the hallway, and it's government buildings, so there's no carpet. It's just hard concrete walls and halls. Very noisy. So she gave us a solid 10 minutes. And that was fine. So that was Diana DeGette. Then we met with, I forget who it was, a staffer from, was that in the House? Yeah. It was a congressperson from Minnesota. And we got there late because we were late from that other thing and we couldn't find it. And when we finally got there, he'd already kind of started the meeting. He was really fucking nasty. He was older. He was smart. Anytime he sort of took me, he latched on to me to he came at me. And, when I would say things like, I would sort of say platitudes about, how bad the legislation was and how it affected people. Well, exactly how does it affect people? What specifically about it affects people? And he was just coming at me. He's like, What we sort of put together after, because what was fascinating is he was coming at me, and I was just this side of breaking into a flop sweat, because you know how when you're trying to say something and someone's like, you get a little And then I thought, I don't give a shit if this guy, So I avoided flop sweat panic. So I just kind of held my own for a while, and then he went on and talked to other people, and then at some point, he actually made the connection. He was really smart. He really knew his shit. Kathy from RXN was talking about the cloud storage thing, and he goes, "Oh," he goes, "You're just talking about not legislating the technology, but legislating the use case." And we said, yeah. And then at that point, his guard came down. What we put together after the meeting is that I think he thought that we were anti-regulation, that we were we don't want to regulate AI at all. And we're not. We're just regulate it smart, regulate it in a sophisticated way that doesn't paint frontier model companies like OpenAI with small businesses with 4 employees in them, right? Because they don't have the same resources to deal with your stupid fucking regulation. So be smart about it, right? Make a grid and a matrix and understand the nuance and, regulate the use case rather than the technology. And so once he got that, his tone completely changed, and he was really engaged and he was taking notes. We gave him some ideas, so that was that one. Then we went to Senator Bennett's office from Colorado, and the staffer we were supposed to meet with wasn't there. The staffer that we did meet with was a lovely young lady. She was maybe, 20. Wait, did you show Cranky Old Man? No, I didn't do, Kyle from the AI Learning Lab didn't really show up in Washington. You gotta be political, it's if ever there's a place where you gotta be political, it's DC, right? You can't burn bridges and do weird shit. So, although, apparently you can do if your shit's weird enough, you can do any of it. So she met with us, and she was okay. She didn't really know the issues all that much. She was like, a year ago, there was an AI series of summits. And she kind of sat, she was a little cross-armed, and she just sort of gave us pleasant nods and things like that. So she was okay. It was, that meeting was just, I'm taking notes, I'll pass them along, I don't really give a shit, was kind of the tenor of that meeting. Did you say you can make money with ChatGPT? I didn't. Although the last meeting was the best meeting. So we then went to Hickenlooper's office, and the staffer there was named Sam. I forget Sam's last name, but Sam had his master's degree in computer science. He was a software developer. He was super passionate about this. He goes, "This is what I do. I do AI and I do software and I do this." And he had 4 or 5 different things that he did, but AI was in it. He cared a lot about it. He asked really good questions. He completely got all the stuff we were talking about. And then he even came back and said, hey, if we were to approach regulation this way, would that work? And I forget how he was saying it. Oh, one of the things we were talking about was there's different actors, is how he put it, which I thought was a really good term, right? That you want to regulate the right actors, right? So you've got the frontier models that are building these core models, and then you've got people that are just using the models wholesale. Then you've got people that are using the models and fine-tuning them, right? And then you've got some people that are making their own models, and right? And so there's all these different actors in the ecosystem. And so he was talking about, like, how do we determine the actors, right? And he goes, should it just be based on, like, number of employees or number of revenue? And I said, I don't think that can actually work, because you might have a company that's a single-person company that's acting like a 1,000-person company because they're leveraging the shit out of AI, right? And then you might have a 1,300-person company that doesn't fall under regulation because they're using it in a really limited way that falls outside of that. So he actually got that nuance. One of the other messages that I talked about, how are we doing on time? One of the other messages that I talked about was, I said, when you're thinking about regulation, be very careful to write the regulation in a way that doesn't assume that the technology we have today is how it's going to look a year or two from now, right? Because if you say, hey, based on this model or this capability of this model, here's the regulation, a year from now, it's not going to look like that. So I said you run the very real risk of writing regulation that will be obsolete by the time it passes. And Sam really got that. He really got that. I was really impressed with him. He talked about understanding the nuance between big companies and small companies, right? He understood the difference between traditional AI and generative AI. He had this whole concept of different, sort of layers and sizes of companies, and at least, figuring out a way to do that. So that one was really good. And then I just went from there to the airport. The last meeting was actually really promising. He similarly said probably not gonna be anything from the feds anytime soon, but I kind of feel like, so I think I met with 6 people. I feel like 2 of them were really good. The Josh Hawley lawyer was really smart. The Hickenlooper staffer was really smart. I have a feeling the Bennett staffer, had we met with the actual staffer, would have been fine. So I feel like Colorado's in a good place. Oh, all of the Colorado people, I said, I met with this executive director that is not, pursuing AI because of that law. They all took furious notes on that one. Like the fact that I had a specific anecdotal piece of data from the day before, like flying in, of someone where there was a chilling effect because of this law. And one of the things George and I were talking about was, like, we want the U.S. to remain competitive. And if you put us in a cage where we can't do our shit, we're not going to be competitive. So when I had a specific story of, here's a company, where the executive director has made a strategic decision not to learn AI, not to do anything with it because of the legislation that you wrote that doesn't go into effect until 2026, already having a chilling effect. Crazy. All right, so that was Washington. Whew. I'll see if you have any questions, because I've just been talking and not looking at the screen. AI wants to know if you notice bias towards or against AI along party lines. I I haven't been looking for it, but I did see a TikTok today that addressed that specifically. She took a transcript of the debate and had ChatGPT analyze it, and then she took the transcript of the debate and de-identified it, took out the specific names of the players, just said candidate A, candidate B, and she said she got a very different result from that. So that makes sense to me. Good, Kyle. Sounds like you made some headway. Yeah, I'll tell you, like the Minnesota congressman, the one that he actually turned in the meeting, where he went from being very combative to being, really listening to us. That felt like we made progress. The Senator Budd dude, I think he was fine. I think he'll pass along the notes. Josh Hawley's counsel, he took it seriously. The Diana DeGette one where we had the hallway meeting, I think that was just a nice to have. The Bennett one was like, that'll go along. But Sam from Hickenlooper's office, I think we made a real impact there. He was the first one. Sam was the first one. So one of the things that we said to all of them is have small business at the table when you're thinking about this legislation and drafting this legislation. Have small business in the room, right? So that you're representing the users of this technology, not just the manufacturers of this technology. And Sam was the first one. I really got the sense that, I'm a constituent, and I really got the sense that, they could potentially reach out at some point and say, hey, we want to talk, and here's what we're thinking about doing, and what's your feedback on that? So what Kathy from RxN told me was that, I said, what's the end goal here? Is the end goal that we, affect any specific change? She said, no. She said there's no specific legislation that we're lobbying for or against. She said this is relationship building, right? This is get the concerns into the conversation. So even if there's no specific action, at some point in the future, there might be just something that sticks in their head. We should probably make sure that we're separating big companies from small companies, or so concepts get through. And then she said, what this really is that over time you keep having these meetings, and the staffers get to know you, and the staffers are the ones that do all the work. And so at some point, if they want to bring in a voice for that particular issue, they'll have records of all this, and they'll call you out and bring you back out there and things like that. So I thought that was fascinating. So that's that. Kyle for president. His slogan is "Embrace the jank 4 more years." No, my slogan for 2028 is "It can't possibly be worse." where the AI is actually the president, and I'm just the fancy little spokesmodel. Opie.
Fascinating, overwhelming, all at once. So I've gathered top experts in the field like Bill Gates, Sam Altman, and more to help us understand what it is. This is crazy to me.
This is the biggest technical advance in my lifetime.
AI and the future of us. An Oprah Winfrey special tonight.
An Oprah Winfrey special that if you're in the mountain time zone, go fuck yourselves. There's a pre-show in Mods, FYI. What's a pre-show? Oh, I see. GPT-401 demo. Hume update, new voice model. Oh, yeah, I saw that. I haven't played with it yet. Gemini Live now available for everyone. Okay, yeah, we can... So we could demo in the next 20 minutes. We could go look at the new O1 model. I can't believe they called it fucking O1. GPT-4o and then O1. Not 01. No. Kyle, want me to come up and share some legal stuff I learned. I would love that. Yeah, hop up here, Ann Murphy. Oh, I want to show you also the new Notebook LM. So Notebook LM is something I haven't really talked about on this channel, and it needs to be talked about now. I probably should have talked about it a while ago, but holy shit, did they just add a crazy new feature. So yeah, hop up here, Ann, whenever you're ready. Oh, remind me how. Oh, I don't know. You go to somebody. Can somebody tell Ann how to click on the button, which button, where it is? Because I can't. Can you please volunteer to handle their marketing? Oh, can we please volunteer to handle their marketing? Honest to God, seriously, you've got a new thinking model. You can't call it like GPT cognition or GPT Thinky McThinkington. GPT, or it's not even called GPT, it's just called O1. Really? Really? Right by the comment box. Ah, there she is. Ha Continue. Ann Murphy.
Okay, hey, can you guys hear me?
Wait, my volume's too low, but go ahead. Yeah, I can.
Okay, I'm going to start driving in a second, so I'm just going to be off camera. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I just finished Paul Retzer's conference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. We had so many like AI luminaries there, and then 1,000 people who kind of spanned the spectrum. It's all marketers, some like agency people, some like contractors, some like, you know, entrepreneurs, blah, blah, blah. Nice mix of people.
Yep.
But one of the sessions I kind of hated because what we learned is that the copyright cases are definitely going to go to the Supreme Court.
Yep.
And because of that and the additional scrutiny that will go on, listen to what we are supposed to do, our very own selves. The recommendation, because if we ever get sued, because believe it or not, even if we taught someone and they go and do something stupid, or if it's like one of our clients or ourselves, listen to what we're supposed to do. We are supposed to be keeping track of all of our conversations with ChatGPT, so that we can prove that AI wasn't part of it. We can prove what was AI and what wasn't, and what was
human contribution. Yeah.
You know about that, and that we're supposed to be able to, produce why we did it, how we did it, the prompts, and all of that. That if we were to like do it on the up and up, so everything you do, you would have to be keeping track of, which just absolutely blows my mind.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's also just like I've got this new book coming out called Collective Intelligence, and like a lot of it was written by AI, but a lot of it wasn't, right? And it's also like there's like most of the concepts in there are shit that Kevin and I have been talking about for a year, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's not just prompting, right? And
exactly. And so like
there's even things like the I don't know if you saw the thing where Timbaland, like the rapper, his producer took a little beat that he made and put it in Suno. So it started with a beat that he made, and then Suno basically finished the song. Like, where's the boundary? Like, what if that is AI and what if that isn't? Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm with you. So I don't know.
So that was a little bit stunning and made me feel like, oh, fucking great. Now I got to get like some kind of attorney and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got bad attitude on that because I'm just like well, I do just because so many people are going to be using so much stuff, like, and so much of the work is going to be hybrid, human and AI, and not just like single AI, like multiple systems are going to be used to go into stuff, right? So it's like, like the ability to track all that's like literally impossible.
It's literally impossible to do that. At that point, it would be so cumbersome. You'd have to be like, okay, that's okay. I guess I'm just going to go back to doing things the old way.
Yeah.
Or something. So that was a big learning. The other one I wanted to share is that if there's a lull in AI right now, not one single person of that 1,000 people have any idea that there's a lull. Like, they are, I mean, they're marketers.
What was the mix of, you know, I'm here and I don't really use it, but I think I might start, to people that are actively using it? I assume that conference, it was a lot of people using it, but what
yeah, I would say there was probably only like 5% of people who aren't using it. And then probably 30% of people who are just like dinking around and want to figure it out. And then everybody else is the one of the takeaways is that like the big gap is it's not been easy for anybody to go from like some of the things you would do on an AI roadmap and actually scaling it. Like all companies are having a hard time scaling it.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
That makes sense to me. I don't think the tools are ready to scale, quite frankly.
Well, that's part of it, is people get burned. And then exactly. The people who make the stuff, or who are like the brokers for the people who make the stuff, like it's their brand reputation and stuff. So they don't want to give gadgets to people and be like, well, let's just cross our fingers and hope that everything works out okay. But the problem is that like with Copilot in Microsoft, it's not even, there's no effort involved with scaling. Like it's going to, but people won't have any training. They won't have any governance. Like no one talked about governance at all. Nobody. Not even a single like hallway conversation, not a breakout. I mean, we had like, I don't know, like there was like 60 speakers there. And if it came up, it wasn't in the write-up on any of the sessions. So that was surprising.
Did you have, were there any sort of breakthrough moments that you had, or anything that got you really excited?
Yeah.
The scary thing I get, but what was on the other side?
Yeah. Okay. One of the things that I was really excited about was how excited everybody there was. Like that seemed so promising. Everybody has all this pent up energy and they want to do things, and that's really cool. Liz Grennan, so Connor Grennan interviewed Liz Grennan, and she talked a lot about stakeholder trust, and that's a topic that I really care a lot about. And there were some like good ideas about how you start working with people. Like you should really only work with the people who are ready to be on an adventure with you. You shouldn't work with anyone. Like some of the advice was like, if you're in a space where you have to teach people or convince anybody, just leave the room. Like we're not doing that.
Yeah, this is really good. This is that article that I wrote, Rise of the Agile Human, that the people that you want to invest time into are the ones that are curious and hungry and excited and flexible, and, right? You know, brave enough to break some shit, right? That's good reinforcement, because this stuff is too all the AI tech right now is too malleable to have people in there that want predictable shit, right?
Exactly. The other thing I really loved was Rachel Woods was there, and you know, I'm in her community and I've done courses with her and all that kind of stuff, but she shared so much about how you build your playbooks for AI and using AI to do it, so that basically what you're doing is you're creating these assets for your business where you're taking these like groupings of tasks and you're just like, totally making it routine, and then you just upgrade it like incrementally as you go. And then the goal is, of course, like those become the assets for your business, and then you can hand off one thing after another to other people and get yourself, so you're only working on the highest level stuff.
Wow,
so
that's cool.
She's doing like a 4-week course on it soon. I think she's waiting to see how many people are into it.
Yeah.
But so to teach us all how to do that, which I like, for me, that's money in the bank.
Yeah, that's really cool. That reminds me, so Paul Reitzer last week released Problem GPT. He's got like 3 GPTs now.
Yes, it's so good.
Yeah, it seems like it's in the same neighborhood.
It was so good. And the other thing he shared, I don't know if SourceCamp is on the live.
She was earlier. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's in here.
So this would be particularly relevant to SourceCamp. He gave the people who bought his Scaling AI course a 29-point assessment tool, where what you do is you go through the company that is your client and you learn about their business operations and everything. But each task, you determine what is the exposure to the positive impact of AI. Oh. So then you can prioritize things. So you're like, okay, this one, has a 70% likelihood of being better with AI. Maybe, you go ahead and you do that. And so then you begin to be like cherry picking, the projects that you work on, so that the client gets like value really quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was really cool. And then I met a bunch of people who solve a problem that I don't have anyone to solve for, which is when people's data is a hot mess and you start going in there and trying to do stuff. And it's just like, I can't even help you because your data is a hot mess. So I met so many wonderful people there, and like especially collaborators. So
great. I hope you talked up the salon. Get him in the salon.
Oh, I would love to do that. He is such a cool cat.
Who? Paul Reitzer is?
Yes.
Yeah, he's cool. Were you there when he spoke at the salon? Were you there that night?
No, he was already in the salon?
Yeah, well, he spoke. He came and spoke at one of our meetings.
Oh, man. Well, the other thing I wanted to mention, because people might be interested in this kind of thing for future, people there were walking around with RFPs printed out to try to find someone to train their teams, to build shit for them. I mean, literally, I walked away with RFPs where people had broken down like a playbook and said, this is exactly what we want to do. All we need to know is how much it costs and how long it's going to take.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow,
so I gave it to Josh already. So Josh had, my friend Josh Houston, he has it in his hands already. And there's money by going to these conferences. Like, oh my God, I met so many potential clients and stuff. It was so cool.
Wow, that's great. That's really
great. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, cool.
To share.
Well,
okay, cool. I forget how to kick. Can you kick me off so I go back down? I don't know how.
Yeah, I'll get you out of here. Just leave, Ann. Just go. Hi. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. That was very cool. I forgot she was at that conference. Yeah, that's super cool. Awesome. Fantastic. All right. So did you get my memo about the RFP cover sheets? We're gonna need you to. All right. What was that conference called, please? It was the MAICON, M-A-I, Marketing AI Institute, MAICON. And it's the Marketing AI Institute. They have their annual shindig in Cleveland. Paul Reitzer is the I guess the CEO of that organization and the main, sponsor of that event. I got to go get some more water, so entertain yourselves, and then we'll be back and do Opie. We will do Opie. I'll be right back. Jimmy! What's up, everybody? All right. We're back. We're back. Tonight on the AI Learning Lab, Oprah Winfrey, AI for everyone. You want some? All right, what's happening, everybody? What's shaking? What's going down? We got 3 minutes left, so I'll flip over here. Time for the AI party. Jim Ross is in the house. Hey, Jim, you're I invoked your name and your story a fair amount in DC. The thing that you said about you feel like you're operating like a 10-person company, you know, as a solopreneur. That went over really well. Like I tried a number of different things of specific stories. The two that went over the best were that one, and then the woman that I met on the plane who said she's not gonna incorporate AI into her business at all because of the Colorado law, even though it doesn't go into effect until 2026. She was just really pragmatic. She's like, I don't want to put time into that if I'm just going to get regulated, it's going to create this regulatory burden. I was like, damn, laws actually have an impact. So, yeah, I know, it was really cool. It was very cool. I told him, the one guy that was really interested when I said that, he was like, oh, that's amazing. I said, yeah, he's got this practice where every morning for an hour, he uses AI for his business. He was like taking notes. It was pretty cool. All right, let's see. Scripts, we're doing, okay, let me resize my window so that we got most of the screen on for y'all. Oh, that's good. We can just pop it right there. And right, do that. Oh, that's good. Look at that. We're going to get full Opie. Full Opie. All right. How are we going to know? How are they going to know if they incorporate AI into their business? Well, what she was saying is, like, she doesn't know, right? She's not using ChatGPT enough to know how she would incorporate it. But what she said to me is, when they passed that law, she made a conscious decision to not pursue it, to not learn it, to not create an AI committee to learn how they might do shit better. Because she's like, I don't want to put time into something if it's just going to create a headache down the line. Was that the DC trip? Yeah, that was. I've been talking for most of the last hour about the DC trip. Yeah, no, I know. It was really, what was amazing was she and I were talking about ChatGPT for a long time, and then she once she found out I testified against that law, she was like, I didn't know where you stood on that law, so I didn't really say anything. But once she knew where I stood on that law, then she kind of admitted to me that was a choice she made. So, bonkers. Bonkers, bonkers, bonkers. All right. Down. Dion. Oh, let me cover up my keyboard. Where's my paper? Where's my black papier? All right, here she comes. Is this her? No. That's an ad council thing.
On social media.
The first thing that kind of comes to mind is just like the Terminator movies.
Oh, yeah.
We've always been interacting with some sort of artificial intelligence. It's just much more in our face right now.
What scares me about AI is that the technology seems to be advancing so quickly.
One day we weren't talking about it, and then the next day it wasn't just that we were talking about it. It was there for us to use without really even understanding it.
The AI is happening. It's going to happen.
The question I would have for anyone who has power over the development is, how are we going to make this work for us?
I don't know what the agenda is with the people who's even creating AI. To me, it's like, what is really the point? Why do we need AI?
There you go. Yeah, this is very much designed for introducing this to the world. Fascinating.
I've been living on this planet for 7 decades. I've seen a lot of things change. But about a year ago, I saw the first change I didn't fully comprehend. It was a demonstration of the capabilities of artificial intelligence, and I was bedazzled, fascinated, curious, and also concerned. But there's no doubt it is here. Artificial intelligence is here, and life for all of us is about to be very different. Over the next hour, we're going to talk about what is coming with a brilliant group of people. They have different backgrounds and opinions about the kind of future racing toward us, but they all agree the stakes are too high for anyone to sit this out. Now, if you're worried this is going to be too technical, I promise it is easier than you think.
Yep. That's great. This is
the notion
good
of a
messaging.
computer that works like the human brain. It's been around since the 1950s.
This is good.
The first chatbot arrived in 1966, but computers at the time weren't powerful enough to really engage. Things started.
Well, it's been around for decades, Forever Hooked, but it hasn't been accessible to everyday people until 2022.
To learn from. Most recently, a group of computer scientists taught machines.
There's the transformer.
How to find and process words more easily so they can understand how we naturally communicate. That new discovery is powered by these computer chips called GPUs. Combine smarter programming with more powerful chips and you get AI products like ChatGPT.
There's your 2022 date. That's the beginning of the revolution, in my opinion.
So far beyond our capabilities that it can seem like reality itself is warping. Sam Altman is the co-founder of Open AI, which makes ChatGPT. I promised everybody watching that this was not going to be so technical that they wouldn't understand it. Well, you will do it.
All right.
Okay. What is artificial intelligence?
It's really the next chapter of computing. We have figured out how to make computers smarter, to understand more, to be able to be more intuitive and more useful.
Can you tell us in basic terms how ChatGPT works?
You know, at the most basic level, we are showing the system 1,000 words in a sequence and asking it to predict what word comes next, and doing that again and again and again.
So we've seen this on our phones where it predicts, you know, what the next word's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But to do that as well as possible, think how much you have to understand about each word that comes before and the relationships.
And every word.
And every word.
Yes.
And by teaching the model to look at a bunch of text and predict what word comes next, and doing this incredible scale again and again, the system learns to predict, and then in there it learns the underlying concepts.
So that's what's going on behind the screen.
Yes.
How fast is this moving?
Well, 4 years ago, most of the world, if they thought about AI, thought about self-driving cars or some other thing or whatever. It was only 2022 was the first time people said, okay, this ChatGPT thing, like this is,
it's a thing.
Computer talks to me now, that's new.
Yeah.
And then since then, if you look at how much better it's gotten, it's been a pretty steep rate of improvement.
Just take me to 2035.
I think it's hard to say where all this can go without sounding like a crazy person. I really believe the technology is going to be that powerful. I hope that in 10 years,
hear the dramatic music.
All of us, we are limited by what we can imagine. We have this AI that can help us figure out anything. We have abundant energy that can help us like reconfigure stuff in the world. And if you want to go build like a beautiful house, you can dream with the AI. You can figure out, oh, I want it to look like this, or do you have any other ideas, and architect this amazing thing. And then can you invent some robots that can actually build this house that we just imagined together.
So the machine then just becomes a part of your family, the way the phone is a part of our lives now.
It becomes a tool for you to do whatever you want for your family.
Do you think it's moving too fast?
My current belief is no, but I could imagine things
accelerating
would change that quickly, and I would say, okay, this is moving too fast.
Like what? What would change that?
If we made an AI system that was better at doing AI research than all of OpenAI, and you could push a button and just say, improve really fast. That's an example of something I think would be moving too fast.
If we're talking about AI benefiting everyone, the industry is dominated by a lot of people who look like you, male and white, and very few who look like me.
Bias? This is good.
Are there any thoughts about how to address that?
Yeah. Obviously, we want everybody to see themselves in our products. We also want the industry workforce to be much more diverse than it is. And there's slower than we'd like progress, but there is progress there. The most important thing that will happen here is everyone in the world will be able to create at a level that is still hard for us to imagine. This is gonna be an enabler of human ability to create, to flourish, to make new things, to create new companies and services like we've never seen. And we want everybody to get to do that, not just the white dudes.
That's good.
Yeah. What keeps you up at night?
The rate of change in the world,
not yet, Papa JJ.
From this, we haven't seen it yet.
We'll do that
and just
after
because we haven't seen that yet doesn't mean we can get complacent. Let's say we can make the technology super safe. We can't kind of do anything about the rate of diffusion through the economy. Like, people want more and better, and there's sort of some strong forces at play here.
If you were in charge of regulations, what kinds of regulations, what kinds of boundaries, what kinds of restrictions do you believe should be put in place?
A partnership between the companies developing this technology and governments is really important. One of the first things to do, and this is now happening, is to get the governments to start figuring out how to do safety testing at these systems, like we do for aircraft or new medicines or things like that. And then I bet
Christopher Wray talks about this.
Now we'll have an easier time figuring out exactly what the regulatory framework is later.
Who do you speak with in the federal government?
We speak with a lot of people in the executive branch, and then dozens of people fairly regularly in Congress. There's a new AI Safety Institute in the US that we work with. I personally probably have some conversation with someone in the government every few days.
Every few days?
Yeah.
Wow.
And what are y'all talking about?
What the US needs to do to lead here, how we're going to build enough data centers, how we're going to deal with chips and where those chips are produced, and make sure that geopolitically we have a good strategy there, how to think about safety for AI and how the government should test it, how to think about collaboration with other governments, what the economic impact of this is going to look like, how the government should be using this, all that.
The bottom line for, I think, most people is whether or not you can trust the people who are in charge.
I'll
and I know you went through a phase where your own board said, we don't trust you. And then you got yourself another board. How do we know we can trust you?
So the bar on this is clearly extremely high. The best thing that we can do is to put this technology in the hands of people, talk about what it is capable of, what it's not, what we think is going to come, what we think might come, give our best advice about how society should decide to use this, say when we think it's important to not release something, which we also might get wrong, and build up that trust over time. But it is clear that this is going to be a very impactful technology, and I think a lot of scrutiny is thus super warranted.
I actually saw a headline that said you were the most powerful and perhaps most dangerous man on the planet. And I'm wondering how that sits with you.
It's definitely strange to hear you say that. I don't feel like the most powerful person or anything even close to that. I feel the opportunity, responsibility in a positive way to get to nudge this in a direction that I think can be really good for people. And that's like a serious, exciting, somewhat nerve-wracking thing. but it's something that I feel very deeply, and I realize I will never get to touch anything this important.
It started 10 minutes ago. Just started.
Just what we've seen thus far of people with nefarious ideas misusing it causes me a lot of concern. And yet when I sit with you, you're so calm, you're so relatable, it seems like everything's okay. Is that how you really feel?
I don't want to give a false sense of security here. I think I'm tremendously excited for the good. I think the good will be incredible, but there will be bad too. And we'll mitigate as much as we can, we the whole field. But this technology will be misused like every other technology before it. And we need to be clear-eyed about that, even though I'm so convinced that the upside will be so tremendous. And I think we're all so excited about it. We do have to be responsible for the whole package.
Yeah, really interesting. Really interesting. I mean, listen, this is an edited piece, right? I would assume that this was likely architected by the PR team at OpenAI is my guess. Not quite a puff piece, but pretty close to it so far. This is definitely feeling designed for the people that haven't heard of ChatGPT. Did you notice at the beginning when she said, Sam Altman, the from OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, she said it like she was talking to second graders, right? This is definitely designed for that. The downside of it so far, like while he's explained it okay, it still seems like nebulous, like it's a machine. Like when he talked about it's a thing that predicts the next word, people don't know what the fuck that means. If he said, you ask it a question and it answers you, like it feels like he could have been a bit more clear about what it actually does, right? If people didn't know what ChatGPT was, the fact that it predicts the next word over and over and over again, what does that fucking mean? Well, what that means is it can write you a poem. It can write you a chapter of a book. It can write you a computer program. Oh, and it can just write it? That's a bit missing right now, but we'll see. I assume who she probably goes to next is Bill Gates. So what Bill Gates does for this is, because he was sort of the poster child with Steve Jobs for the opening of for the beginning of the PC, and then when the internet came along, Microsoft was really slow, but when they decided to go, they went, right? And so, and then because of the Gates Foundation, he's got a global perspective. So Gates has got the ability to, I'm sure he'll talk about the first time he saw ChatGPT. I think Sam Altman came to Bill Gates' house and showed it to him. He'll probably talk about that and talk about how significant it is. So, Sam's there to be the calm voice of, it's going to be okay, people. The robots aren't going to kill you. And I think he does that pretty well. And then Bill Gates is going to say this is important, and it'll be interesting to see what the other folks do. By the way, if you're wondering, where this is, so I'm in Denver, so we're an hour delayed. So this already happened on the East Coast. So we just started at the top of the hour, so we're 15 minutes into this show. I use perplexity a lot. Okay, she's definitely asking alarmist questions. Yeah, I mean it's the media, right? Like, I mean, even when I was in DC, like a lot of what I talked about was, I think part of what we're swimming against here is Hollywood has told us for 50 years that the robots are going to kill us, and every time I said that, they were like, huh, yeah. I asked 3 people the direct question, do you use ChatGPT? No one is. No one is. It's back on? Well, it's not back on here. Oh, yeah, it is. Sorry about that. Holy shit. 2. Holy shit. Oh, so Marquise Brownlee.
Marquez Brownlee, you have 20 million subscribers who all rely on you for all things technical. And this is a moment we're having. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, look, I've been in the tech world a while.
Yeah.
And a big part of being in this world is trying to figure out when this new thing is a big deal
YouTuber
or not.
Tech expert.
I can say confidently it does feel like a big deal.
I think it's a very big deal.
Yeah. I want to show you what an AI-generated video 1 year ago looked like.
Oh, this is great.
Okay.
And it's this.
This is great.
This is The Rock eating rocks.
Okay.
It's kind of a meme. It's a pretty funny video. It's obviously not a real video.
Obviously.
The AI-generated video would look like that.
Eating rocks.
So you can tell that.
Yeah.
And you look at that and you say, okay, that's a pretty ridiculous-looking video.
Yeah.
This was 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Right? Now, this is what AI-generated videos look like.
What do you mean?
This is not a real person, not a real scene.
That's Sora.
No real cameras were used. This is completely generated by an AI-generated video tool. Now, you can still kind of look at pieces of this and tell something's not quite right.
No, I can.
Yeah.
But that looks like a video. Here's another one. This one's a little more interesting. It's a handheld cinematic shot of a child on a beach holding an ice cream cone.
That's what you asked for. That's what you typed in.
That's what I typed in.
I'm assuming that AI had this stored somewhere, the picture of the child.
AI has millions of photos and videos of millions of children stored that it's trained on.
Okay. Are they real children? Is this a real child?
It's not a real child, but it looks like one because it's trained on a ton of real children.
Is that real ice cream?
It sure looks like it.
So,
and this is again, like if you pay super careful.
It's really interesting. What she's asking right there is basically, is this thing copying and pasting real people? Like, is this compositing real people together? She's not quite grokking yet that this is generating original content out of all of the training data. That's where everyone's going to be with this, right? Everyone that hasn't used this and hasn't really looked into it is thinking, oh, it's copying and pasting other people's work. It's not how it works. So that's really fascinating.
Not really any rules to it. So everyone who makes tools like this kind of is coming up with their own rules on the fly. Oh, I'll add a watermark to the corner. Or I'll add some metadata to the file. So if someone downloads it, then they can tell.
How are we supposed to know where to look for a watermark?
It's a couple layers deep. So the point is there isn't really any good set of rules yet.
I know this has happened to you, it's happened to me, is to have people take an image of you, put words into your mouth that you didn't say, you're selling things you don't even know you're selling. I mean, I can't even keep up with all the things.
What I'm about to show you actually is a voice generator.
Yeah.
This is actually a real one right now that's trained on my last video.
Yes.
And you can ask it to say whatever you want, and it will sound just like me. Is there anything you'd like it to say?
I'd like to say Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled
peppers.
Let's see if we can do it.
Okay.
Generated speech.
Levin Labs.
To the untrained ear, this sounds basically exactly like a recording of my voice.
Yeah, it does.
And even to the trained ear, it's pretty convincing.
Yeah.
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
Oh my God.
So in a matter of seconds, this tool is generating really high quality recording level.
This is not bad. This isn't good.
So that's what I mean.
So yeah, she's very much in the alarmist place.
But it leaves me a little bit more concerned. You don't seem to be as concerned.
I'll say I've seen this story before. Cars in general went through this. Smartphones, of course, went through this. Computers went through this. The internet went through this. Where at their very formative years, they're really, really confusing and potentially amazing, but potentially horrible.
80% of users just swore off AI forever.
You know, humans sort themselves out to lay the rules down in a way that we can actually trust that will be better than it is bad. So I've seen the story before. And I'm hoping it plays out the way it's played out before.
Thank you.
No problem.
Next, we have Tristan and Aza, who are here to talk about the incredible speed in which this is happening.
It's moving really fast. We had experience with another technology that was introduced a little bit recklessly, and that was social media. And we're here because we don't want that to happen again with AI.
What was your experience?
I made infinite scroll. You know, that thing where you scroll and the phone just keeps loading more? I invented it before social media, and I invented it to make people more efficient. And it's now used to waste over 500,000 human lifetimes every single month. Addiction, doom scrolling, polarization, these are all consequences. And what I learned the hard way is that my good intentions as an inventor just wasn't enough.
And AI is moving way faster and is way more powerful in its impact on society than social media.
I thought Marquez's example actually caused me to have an aha when he was talking about all technology has gone through a similar phase where people question.
He invented infinite scrolling. So he invented, you know how you scroll and it loads the extra things at the bottom? So you can do that.
Oh, you say what to that?
It took time. It took decades to go from the invention of the car to adding seatbelts and driver's licenses and speed limits.
Yeah,
That's right.
We had to figure it out.
Yeah.
So the problem with the AI is that we don't get that time.
So explain to me why AI is now moving so fast.
In 2017, there was a huge breakthrough at Google, and researchers there discovered a way that AI could start to learn a kind of universal language where it could speak the language of anything. And then suddenly the same lines of code could learn the language of DNA and learn how to make drugs, could learn the language of images, and could learn to do all those things that Marquez was showing. And so the rate of innovation went through the roof. And of course, once AI can do anything, people start to use it to do everything.
That's what's so confusing about AI, is it's going to give us all these benefits at the same time that it's undermining the foundations that we depend on. And you can't separate the promise from the peril. So I think instead of getting caught up in the question, is AI going to be good or is it going to be bad? It's about, is it happening at a pace that our society can respond appropriately?
Yeah.
Guys, it's
that's really important. I'm interested to see what she says here. But it's like the whole point of this channel is to not judge whether it's good or bad. I don't give too much of a shit about whether it's good or bad. What I care about is it's fucking happening, whether we want it to happen or not. And what this channel is about is like, if it's happening whether you want it or not, don't have it happen to you. Like, have you happen to it, right?
Can respond appropriately.
But guys, it's here. That's why I started this program by saying it is here. So the argument isn't whether or not it's going to continue or whether the speed's going to continue, because it is already here.
It's already here.
Some of it's here, but even more powerful forms of AI are coming.
Yep.
Yes.
OpenAI's stated goal is to be able to build systems of AI that are even smarter than humans, because there's trillions of dollars to be made on the other side. And so now is the time for us to say, what are the choices that we want to make about how this technology comes out?
What do you want to see happen now?
OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, they need to be
Cue the
held
dangerous
accountable
music.
for the harms that
Exactly.
they would create, so that they're all incentivized to pull back and go at the pace that they can help society be prepared and not be overwhelmed.
And who is holding them accountable?
We need laws.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, this is definitely what they haven't quite done yet, and they may not, right? This is mass media. What they've successfully done is said, holy shit, it's coming. It could do really bad shit. Nothing you can do about it, is essentially what the message has been so far. What they haven't done is kind of the optimistic view of, well, here's the good things it's done. Here's the good things it's doing. Here's the accessibility it's providing to people. You know, here are people that are using that video tool in positive ways, things like that. So the AI version of When Sharks Attack. Yeah, this is Shark Week, AI Shark Week. You know, what's actually fascinating is I wonder if viewership dropped off after he showed the voice thing and she kind of freaked out a little bit. Sharknado. Yeah, exactly. AI Sharknado. Fascinating. I just saw an email. Let's see. Where's it posted? Where am I? There I am. It looks like the AI salon got. We sent out a press release today for my trip to Washington, and it looks like we got picked up in a Politico article. So I'll look for that in a second. Actually, maybe I wonder if it's over here. People love a good train wreck. I bet you can fast forward since you paused. Yeah, I probably can. Boom. Yeah, it's back.
I've been in a terrible accident and I am so sorry. And a man gets on the phone and he says, "Is this Chasten's mother?" She interrupted
more fear.
A drug deal that I was doing and I lost $900 because of her. So I want my $900 back or I'm going to kill her. So I'm driving like 100 miles per hour down the interstate. And just as I got ready to get off the interstate, a text come in and it was my daughter. And she says, "Mom, what is going on? I'm at the doctor's office."
My immediate reaction was, how the heck did they get my voice? How did they know I called my mom Mama?
I'll tell you what I learned from it. I will not ever take another phone call unless they're in my contact list.
Wow. More scary. AI's going to kill you. Robots are going to kill us. Bad guys. Okay, this is the robots are going to kill you section.
Here.
Oh, Christopher Ray.
We want
Okay.
to talk about threats from AI and other aspects of law and order.
Interesting.
Do you remember the first time that someone showed you evidence of AI being used to commit a crime? And what was your reaction?
Yeah, if I said a bad word, we might get rate limited or they might kick me off.
Even before I became FBI director, but one of the first memories I have of dealing with it in this job was I was in a conference room and a bunch of our folks got together to show me how AI-enhanced deep fakes can be created. And they had created a video of me saying things I had never said before and would never say. And I was staring at this video of myself, and I found it incredibly convincing. And believe me, it caught my attention. I kept thinking, wait, that's not me. I never said that. What is this, you know?
Oh, the lady on the video.
Right now, AI is most useful in taking what I would call JV criminals and making them varsity.
How so?
And that's a problem.
How so?
For sure. We had a case not that long ago with a child psychiatrist in North Carolina who took images that he was able to get online and then manipulate them using AI to make them into child pornography. One of the things that made this particular example so egregious and horrifying is that the child psychiatrist took photos from decades earlier, from first day of school, a school dance, that kind of thing, and essentially was able to manipulate those images to show them naked.
Wow.
There's so much out there now on social media and on the internet, well-intentioned things that people post about their lives, but in the wrong hands, enhanced by AI, people are vulnerable.
So you said more and more types of crimes.
So that would be one. Another one is something called sextortion, which we're seeing more and more often. Somebody posing as a peer targets a teenager, typically. More and more, it's young boys. So you're a teenage boy, you get a reach out from someone who claims to be a friend of a friend. She sends compromising pictures of herself and invites you to send pictures back. Except it's not a girl. Those images are enhanced. And in fact, it's some guy behind a keyboard in Nigeria. And then once they have the images, they threaten to blackmail the kid and say, if you don't pay up, we're going to share these images, we'll ruin your life. Unfortunately, this has real world consequences. There have been at least 20 teenagers who committed suicide in these situations. And it's just heartbreaking.
Do you think we have the laws or regulations in place now to keep Americans safe from all that's coming, all the AI threats?
I would probably leave legislating to the legislators, but what I will tell you from an FBI director's perspective is that this is a type of technology that we see manifesting itself in more and more situations, more and more types of crimes, more and more types of threats. And there's a degree to which overall
he's not up to speed. That can be done without AI.
With the technology.
Yeah,
Does
it just
frustrate you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's a good point. I mean, listen, what AI does, both good and bad, is while yes, you can do all of what he just described without AI, you have to have pretty significant technical skills to do it. With AI, so AI democratizes all skills, right? And it's going to increasingly democratize, increasingly sophisticated skills are going to get democratized. So everyday people can now do things. He talked about like going from junior varsity to varsity. That's the thing that's happening with AI is more and more people are going to be able to do this stuff.
And the elite bad guys are doing what?
So the elite bad guys are the ones, for example, conducting the most sophisticated cyber intrusions. To me, no country represents a broader, more severe, more comprehensive threat to American innovation, American ideas.
So this stuff they're showing here, like this is relatively old convolutional network technology. So they're showing China here. They're basically saying China's using AI to watch all of their people, and we're going to be able to do that here. We are already doing that here, right? Like this is old technology. What things like segment anything from Meta does is it makes that technology available to everyone else. You can with relatively, trivial amount of programming skills, and now with something like Replit, with their autonomous agent, where you can create an application like I did last week without any programming skills, individuals are going to be able to do this kind of sophisticated, person tracking and identification and things like that.
American ideas to our economic security and ultimately our national security than the Chinese government. China has a bigger hacking program already than that of every major nation combined, and has stolen more of Americans' personal and corporate data than every nation.
Yeah, our data's already gone. It's long gone.
The scale of the threat is significant. If you took the FBI's program and just said, forget Russia, forget Iran, just do nothing but China, the Chinese government's hacking program, they would outnumber us 50-1.
Does that mean the race that we all feel that we're in now, the race to be first, to be better, is to our advantage?
I do think we need to win the race. I think we are ahead in the race. But I would also say that we shouldn't, in the course of trying to win the race, disregard the importance of building in safeguards and controls and that sort of thing to help protect abuse. So speed, yes. Recklessness, no.
We've got an election coming. Do you think this election cycle will be compromised by disinformation?
I fully expect to see disinformation by foreign adversaries.
The 50x behind thing was just on the hacking. So I think he's saying we're ahead in the development of the core technology, but I don't know. And if you look at what China's releasing with their video generation tools, there's 3 major video generation tools from China right now that are at least in the neighborhood of Sora. So I don't think we actually know where we stand relative to China right now.
Finding all too often that something on social media that looks like Bill from Topeka or Mary from Dayton is actually, some Russian or Chinese intelligence officer on the outskirts of Beijing or Moscow.
What should we be on the lookout for?
All Americans should try to be, more discerning consumers of information. It is incumbent on everyone in America to bring an intensified...
Name the video AIs China has. They've got Kling. There's one that came out last week, and then there's Kling is a really good one. Kling, it's klingai.com, I think, or kling.ai. Just look up Kling. That's the one that's farthest along. But then one came out last week, and then another one came out like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. So there's a number of them out there now. Some of them you can't sign up with if you don't have a Chinese phone. Kling made it possible. I think it's klingai.com. You can sign up with an American email for that one, then you can use it.
Caution to the use of AI and how AI can be used by bad guys against all of us, but not to panic. I don't think this is a time for panic.
Let's talk for 15 minutes about all the reasons you should panic, and then we'll have Christopher Wray say, this isn't a time for panic.
Radiation or have a nervous system.
TV. Isn't media the best? They're watching you. They're coming to get you. China's better than us, except we're better than China because America's #1. But you know what you shouldn't do? You shouldn't worry about the robots coming to kill you just because we told you the robots are coming to kill you. Why would you do that? Don't you worry your pretty little head. Go get some more Fritos. No point in panicking. Just panic. I don't think that FBI guy knows completely what he's talking about. He sounded special. You got to imagine that we're hacking them too. Like again, all that stuff has been there forever.
AI is going to take a lot of people's jobs.
I like making analogies of the Industrial Revolution. We found other places to specialize.
I have a robot in my pharmacy that fills drugs all day long for me. I did not like it when it first got there, but I couldn't imagine being without it now.
Yeah,
I hope that AI will be able to change health care in a way that you can
I bet they go to Bill Gates right now.
So that information would go from the doctor to the patient in a more efficient manner.
I think that made me shift to nursing school because basically I'm always going to be needed. I'm trying to future-proof myself. Am I going to be successful is the real question.
AI in the future of us. 4, health, education, and jobs. Bill Gates.
So Bill Gates, you've been on this tech rocket ship for quite some time. In the 70s,
this is it's bigger than anything. It's going to be okay. The positive outweighs the good, I bet.
We had the internet. And now I'm just wondering how you think this AI moment stacks up to where we've been, to where we are right now.
AI is going to have more impact than even the personal computer, the phone, the internet.
Right? This is what I said, right? This is what he's known for.
In this phenomenal way. But this is the biggest technical advance in my lifetime.
What does the world look like
big.
if
I mean, that's
get
important
the
for
best
people.
of AI?
In 10 years, I'd say education and healthcare will have changed dramatically.
Yep.
So in medicine, there's the research part, the speed of scientific innovation across all diseases, even the neglected ones like malaria and HIV, that will be accelerated. But perhaps even more profoundly, whenever
this guy's stolen everything that made him what he is. He's no visionary. Yeah, but he was a guy that figured out how to take all that stuff that other people created and scale it. OpenAI, a lot of what they're doing is taking things like the transformer technology, and they've figured out how to scale it better than anyone else. So just because he didn't invent anything doesn't mean he didn't innovate. What he innovated in was leveraging that technology that had been there and scaling it, right? Steve Jobs, you could argue, was the inventor and innovated. Bill Gates was taking things and scaling it. I would argue that OpenAI right now is taking technology and scaling it. I think I actually got that idea from Pate, who I just saw posted. Things will change. Wow. Easy there with the wild speculations.
you almost can think of the AI as like a third person sitting in, doing the transcript, suggesting the prescription, and then you have this whole session has been transcribed. And so instead of the doctor facing that computer screen, they're engaging with you, and this software is making sure there's a really good transcript.
One of the things that's exciting to me is how this is going to impact kids and their personal learning.
Yeah, the dream that you could have a tutor who's always available to you and understands how to motivate you, what your level of knowledge is. This software should give us that. You know, when you're outside the classroom, that personal tutor is helping you out, encouraging you. And then your teacher, you know, talks to the personal tutor and says, okay, what's your advice about how I do things in class the next day? They won't have to spend time grading homework. They'll immediately know how that went.
Oh my God, they're going to have so many mistakes. Can't replace a nurse or MA, medical associate, I assume. Do not, this is just my opinion, do not assume that the inaccuracy of the models of today are going to persist for that much longer. What OpenAI released today is a version of its language model that now thinks before it answers. These things are going to get smarter and smarter and smarter. So the current technology, I would agree with you, but I don't think that lasts for that long.
We know how that went.
Does this mean you eventually don't have teachers and everybody just has their own AI teacher?
We're trying to help teachers, that personal engagement, motivating a kid, meeting them where they are. You know, the AI in no way is a replacement for that. But the fact that as the teacher's saying, okay, what should you work on? It's working at your level, that personalized notion. And, you know, we can see it's already working pretty well.
I talked to Sam Altman, and he was pretty direct about AI's impact on the workforce. A lot of jobs may go away. Do you agree? And how should we start preparing ourselves to navigate that?
Yeah, particularly as you get in this, not the 5 to 10 year time frame, but beyond that, where the AIs, not only are they very good at kind of white collar things, but also the robotics embodiment is taking a lot of blue collar type things, whether it's warehouse work or factory work,
3D printed house,
cleaning rooms, cooking, things like that.
And so that's not only just a threat to people's livelihoods, but, you know, people gain dignity and a sense of purpose and meaning from work.
That's right. We've organized our society around the fact that if you get a good education, if you get a unique set of skills, that you'll be rewarded for that. If we get 20 or 30% more productive, that's all to the good because there's so many unmet needs. But if you get, 300% more productive, in a way you'd say, well, that's only good because then we can make more stuff and we can have more leisure time. But the way that we organize it and maintain people's dignity will require a lot of engagement and, picking leaders who are attuned to taking that excess and making sure we're all sharing fairly.
This is a big deal. The thing that I think is going to be the biggest transition for people is not necessarily the loss of jobs. I feel like we're going to find a way to navigate that. I think that concept of people having their self-worth tied to the things they do, the skills they have, the shit they learned in college that they now have been doing for 20 years in their job, and then all of a sudden that goes away and they have to learn to do something else that's not where they have their core, personal dignity and value. That's the thing I think is going to be, from a mental health standpoint, the biggest transition. I don't have a good answer for that one. I think that's just going to be time.
I've heard you speak.
It's going to be a lot of mourning.
Yeah, in the long run, as we get past that 10 years, work won't be as important. And, that, I think
work won't be as important.
Thing.
Yeah.
What are the jobs?
Yeah,
that
feels right to me. That we're in the middle of we're at the beginning of a 10-year transition where the value of work is completely redefined. Completely redefined. Yeah, people will find their creativity again. That the value of creativity and empathy and personal connection, I think that goes up in value, and that maybe the job of humans becomes to engage with one another and let the machines do all the shitty work. That's my hope.
That you believe are going to be undisturbed? What skills are going to persist in this new world?
Yeah, that's very hard to make a prediction. I mean,
it's a huge change.
There'll be aspects of creativity. There'll be aspects of appreciating people, social work, the teacher really engaging that student in the rich way. Even that, I can't guarantee that software won't eventually get good at that. But, for the next generation, the more human, the more engaged you are with other people, that is a skill set that is in such short supply, whether it's mental.
The more engaged you are with other people, right? I think that this is why joining the salon, joining communities of people who are engaged and generous and empathetic and curious and adaptable, all that sort of stuff feels to me like it goes up dramatically in value. But that's the change is going to be profound for a lot of people, where they put their value in their skills and their work. There's going to be a lot of loss and mourning.
In such short supply, whether it's mental health or education, that we can never have enough.
Mossy Soul, I want to join, but I'm weird.
I've expressed several of my concerns,
we are weird friendly.
Do you have none? Do you have no?
I have significant fears about the risks. This is the first technology that is happening faster than even the insiders expected.
It's happening faster than you guys thought.
Absolutely.
Do you think that your company, that Microsoft and other companies that are going to make a lot of money off of AI have an obligation to help us manage and navigate through this change?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The fact that there will have to be regulation, that the way we think about taxes will have to change quite a bit.
Sorry, Papa JJ, we're not weird. We're irregular.
With the government, then at least we can craft something that's not just profit driven.
But what did we miss with the internet and social media that we can use to apply now to this moment of AI?
Well, I would say, speaking for myself personally, and I think many others, that we were a bit naive.
Yeah, so Sandy Hook is a synthetic, completely fake with actors.
We thought the internet, the availability of information, would make us all a lot more factual. The fact that people would seek out kind of a niche of misinformation, we were a bit naive. And bringing those lessons of, let's get ahead of this. Let's get the politicians to be users and have a dialogue about maximizing the benefits while minimizing the negatives.
That's actually really interesting. If the value of the past 10 years was to teach us how susceptible we are to misinformation and media manipulation, maybe it does set us up to be a bit more savvy. I mean, I think as scary as it was to hear from the woman that was like, my daughter called me and told me, I needed $900. As scary as that is, I think creating an awareness that, okay, we've seen what we can do to each other with just, basic media manipulation over the past decade. And now we've got tools that make that way more sophisticated. I mean, maybe that's at least prepared us to be ready for what's coming.
And the second root word of it is uns, which is to be loved. Are we going to lose that aspect of humanity?
Okay, let me go back.
Good question.
Humans, we have a soul.
Sportsbook.
When it comes to your morning news, we got you covered. From Lisa's
Safe
weather
words with
and
your
Jason's
family.
traffic
Yep,
to
definitely.
bringing you the news in Colorado that matters most. We're out here in the community telling your stories and making a difference. Start your day the right way with Denver 7 Morning News, weekdays starting at 4:30.
Yeah, awareness is really important right now. Yep.
I'm broke. My family thinks I'm a lost cause. Love life is a...
Is this being streamed on YouTube? What's the name of this program with Bill and company? Bill and Oprah. It's Oprah, AI, and the Future of Us.
To me, what it
it's
means
on
to
ABC.
be human is to be... Boy, that's a good question.
Humans, we have a soul. We went through different levels of life, from newborns, toddlers, children, teenagers.
Human in Arabic is insan, and it translates to two things. One is forgetfulness, and that's a quality that all of us share. And the second root word of it is uns, which is to be loved. Are we going to lose that aspect of humanity?
I think that gets amplified.
I think that as humans, there is nothing that brings us greater discomfort than lack of knowledge. And I think that AI, in many ways, comes out of that drive.
Yay!
To know all the answers, to be in control.
There's a nice
religious
message.
Person, one of the things that I reflect on is be careful about comfort, because too much comfort is actually going to make your life worse, not better, because it'll decrease your overall capacity.
This is a well-crafted story
What I do know
arc, this
is
show.
that I locate the divine in relationships between humans and the environment. To me, that's God and that's the divine, and that's something that technology can never stand in for and can never replace.
Totally agree with that. That's really good messaging, and I think counterintuitively that's where AI pushes us.
I am so delighted to be able to talk to Marilynne Robinson, one of America's greatest novelists, who writes of all the messiness and all the grace of being human. So what do you make of this moment that we're in and these two words, artificial intelligence?
Well, it's certainly a departure from any sense of intelligence we have had up to this point. The mulling, cumulative knowing and interpreting the world that has been called intelligence.
Because we've always thought of them as uniquely human traits.
Exactly. The impulse behind it seems to be to eliminate the human hand, the human eye in the making of the reality that we inhabit to the farthest extent possible. With the effect of concentrating power in the sense of the control of this strange fantasy within very few people's hands, and consolidating masses of capital and masses of natural resources devoted to this very dubious project. It's just a human impulse to escape from its humanity, which is something that happens over and over again historically. The impulse to say that there's nothing intrinsic about a human person that cannot, in theory, be replicated by something that, frankly, works cheaper, works faster. I don't know why it is, but it's part of our human lot to be uncomfortable with our humanity and to mechanize it, out of existence in some way. We're not enough in love with our own existence, and we're not enough in love with everyone else's existence, and I think that's very dangerous.
I think that's just so powerful. We're not...
I vehemently disagree with it, by the way. No surprise there.
But hasn't that been the nature of who we are as human beings? Always seeking the next, the more, the better, the other?
we generalize from the behavior of people who tend to dominate historical narrative and are very frightening people in many, many cases. Not the kind of people we would have wished to be making great decisions.
What is the thing that concerns you the most about AI?
I'm afraid that there will be so much investment of every kind into this project that it will have it.
This project, that like her idea that there's this single entity that's doing this is just bizarre to me. It's like, this project is not a project, right? There's a technology that was invented in 2017 that millions of developers are pursuing, and a handful of companies are exploiting better than others. But fascinating.
That it will have its consequences before it really deserves them. And so there will be all kinds of cutting back on all kinds of employment and so on, anticipating this insurgence of AI. And then it will turn out that it's a bad project, that is more dangerous than it is valuable and so on. And so we will have a disrupted economy on one hand and an unusable technology on the other.
Yeah, that's horseshit. What she's basically saying is, we'll realize, oh, it was a big mistake, and the way we used to do things doesn't exist anymore, and now we just have this failed experiment. She completely is missing the fact that we as humans will evolve, right? As these tools change things, we will step into a different role, right? Yeah, Source Camp, she's clearly never used generative AI. You guys, she represents hundreds of thousands of people. Be nice. No, listen, I don't. This is not about nice or not nice. This is about. So, well, whatever. Let's just keep listening to her, because she's clearly very smart and articulate and thoughtful about this, but she's also got a very limited view of what AI is and its role.
But it's also going to, no question about it, it's going to make life a lot easier for a lot of people. So what's wrong with that?
American schools ask for a lot of written work from students, and that's a very good thing. That's an autonomy creating exercise, But what we don't do, we don't tell them that this is a discipline, like an athletic discipline, that they have undertaken to strengthen themselves, not just to bring themselves over some arbitrary line of sufficiency.
That it's the discipline of doing the work and the thinking process.
Exactly. And students say writing is difficult, which of course it is.
It is.
But difficulty is the point.
And so if you were in charge of this whole AI movement, what would you be doing?
She'd turn it off.
I would advise that it be used for, the kind of research that produces drugs and immunizations and so on. I would make a fantastic library.
Well, that's what it is. It's the world's greatest library, instantly accessible.
Very, very judiciously to replace work that is drudgery without the arrogance of replacing the work of people who are of very great value, just because they are the substance of our ordinary interactions with the world.
But I also
agree with her there.
As I'm growing older, and I think as you grow older, there's always the risk of trying to hold on to what was. And when we think about it, there are currently now children who are born and who will be born who will know nothing but this generation of AI. So there will be no looking back,
no, this is just 1 hour.
What used to be or the way it was. And that's always been the case. But I get the sense that you somehow feel that this moment is different than others in past generations. Why?
Well, the thing that occurs to me to compare with it is Manhattan Project that was carried on among very few people in deep secrecy. These things are talked about afterward as if they're collective decisions, but they're not. They're scientific thresholds that are crossed only by people.
Yeah, this makes me nuts, right? The comparison to the Manhattan Project is, right? That was a handful of people creating, a death machine. Right now, you got millions of people developing these technologies, the open source community. I mean, one of the things that Meta did here by open sourcing their powerful models is that they're giving access to these tools to lots of different people. The democratization of access to this technology as it's being developed is completely different than the Manhattan Project, which was just designed as a weapon of destruction, right? She's only talking here about the downside of this, not the humanity impact of it. My experience with these tools is that the benefit I get from them is as if I'm tapping into the collective intelligence of humanity, not the artificial intelligence of a machine that's here to replace us. That this is giving us access. She said it. She said this, she wants us to build the ultimate library. That's what large language models fucking are. They're the world's greatest library where we get to tap into the collective output of humanity. So this particular point of view makes me a little cranky because it's just not the same at all.
As a consequence. And there's no going back from nuclear fission, but that doesn't mean we should put ourselves in the same kind of position again.
Yeah. That was a very lopsided segment. Didn't like that at all. But whatever.
Reports conducts over 50
I'm just a TikToker.
The best vehicles, and only one brand was named the 2020. Number 7.
Did she ask to speak to AI's manager yet? It's very close to that.
To everyone who spoke with us tonight. I hope that they have left you with a clearer picture of what is coming. Artificial intelligence is still beyond our control and to a great extent our understanding, but it is here. We're going to be living with technology that can be our ally as well as our rival. It is something no other generation has ever experienced. This moment requires a different level of alertness, awareness about who we are and where we're going, what's real and what's not, what's artificial intelligence and what is human wisdom, authentic intelligence earned through study and experience. We are this planet's most adaptable creatures. We will adapt again, but keep your eyes on what's real. The stakes for all of us could not be higher.
Don't disagree with that. The authenticity is a big one. Here's where I see this special. Like, parts of this special are fine. Parts of this special are not going to age well. Here's what this feels like to me. This is what this feels like.
56 pass, I wasn't prepared to translate that as I was doing that little tease.
Oh, that's
that little
right.
mark with the A and then the ring around it.
At.
See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'd never heard it.
Around.
I'd never heard it
Okay.
said. I'd always seen the mark, but never heard it said. And then it sounded stupid when I said it. Violence at NBC.
I heard you around big about in the lunchroom the other
See,
week.
there it is. Violence at NBC. GE.com.
GE.com.
Well, Allison should know.
What
do you
is
think
internet
that, Allison?
anyway?
What is internet anyway?
Internet is that massive computer network, the one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean? That's big. How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it and communicate. I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what internet is?
No, she can't say anything in 10 seconds or less.
Allison will be in the studio shortly.
Frank almost such a dick.
Computer network made up of
started from. Oh, I thought you were going to tell us what this was.
It's like a computer billboard.
It's not an. It's a computer billboard, but it's nationwide. It's several universities and everything all joined together.
Right.
And others can access it.
Right.
And it's getting bigger and bigger all the time.
It came in really handy during the quake. A lot of people, that's how they were communicating out to tell family and loved ones they were okay because all the phone lines were down.
I mean, that Oprah special, that's what this feels like. I think we'll look back on the Oprah special at some point. Like, it didn't have any really egregious things in it, but it was definitely, with the exception of Sam Altman and a little bit of the Bill Gates, that was definitely it was definitely reinforcing the Hollywood, the robots are going to kill us zeitgeist, right? So, I don't think that special did AI any favors. And I don't think it fucking matters. Again, the whole purpose of this channel is, regardless of whether, that woman feels like, AI is a project that is designed to replace people or not, doesn't change the fact that this shit's coming and it's coming fast, right? My pushback on the woman talking about the humanity thing is that I don't think she's used generative AI. Like, I don't think you can use it and not feel a profound sense of tapping into humanity. And this community, the community that hangs out here, a reminder of how important our empathy is. That's it, Ann. My experience with generative AI is I feel more profoundly connected to people by a lot than I ever did with social media. Social media it's an oxymoron, right? Because it makes us antisocial. I feel like when you tap into these tools and you feel that profound sense of like, holy shit, the fact that I can say, write me a computer program and it writes a computer program, that is the knowledge of millions of people that have contributed code to the internet for years and years and years that makes that possible. Like, there's a profound, for me, there's a profound realization of the value of humanity when I use these tools, not the opposite of that. That was the thing I had the most trouble with. I mean, okay, fine. Oprah didn't get it, and Oprah's got a bit of a point of view on it. That's fine, and that I actually expected. That woman in particular, like, she's missing the magic of AI is that it is the world's best library already. It is a reflection of humanity already. It's not there to replace us, right? It is part of us. It is collective intelligence, not artificial intelligence, but whatever. I bet Oprah's going to launch something with AI, classes, more specials. She has a profit somehow. Well, I think Oprah's smart. Oprah's like, this is going to change everything. I at least want to have a voice in the conversation. I mean, even with the woman I disagree with, I don't hold it against her that she hasn't used this stuff. I don't hold it against Oprah that what she framed up was, this shit's scary, because it is scary. And the more you use it, the less scary it becomes, right? So I see this just like the Katie Couric piece here. I see this as one of those things that's looking at AI through a lens of not having used it. That's where everyone starts. And so the only information they have is, what have people said about it? Well, they've said that the robots are going to kill us. Oh, so I should be afraid of it. Oh shit, they deep faked someone. I should be afraid of it, right? There's all the reasons to be afraid of it. The Brandon Tidd in a couple of hours making a picture book for his kid and being able to publish it with his cute little Pixar kind of version of himself. They're not talking about that. That doesn't get people to watch TV. But that changes lives, right? So, like, did this show advance the cause at all? I don't know. People over 60 are the best source of knowledge on AI. We all know this. Yeah, exactly, Pate. Exactly. AI does hallucinate information for now. It does. But so do humans. So do humans. Humans get shit wrong. Humans hallucinate. Humans don't apply logic to the situation. Right? I mean, the past decade has been that. Just people sort of getting in camps and going, you suck. No, you suck. No, you suck. Well, here's facts. Yeah, well, we have alternative facts. Like, humans are worse hallucinators than AI. AI is at least getting better. Nobody's slowing down. I agree with that. AI is our mind already. I have developed another part of my brain that talks AI, thinks AI. Yeah, AI is part of our brain. There's another Oprah special on AI on 9/16. Is it a repeat or a new program? What's today, the 12th? If it's on the 16th, I doubt it's... Unless it's a follow-on where they're going to announce some of the new shit that OpenAI announced, I doubt it. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Emilio's wife. We humans are AI. We were created. Well, we'll see. Are we in a simulation? I personally don't think so, but it's possible. I found a free AI from Oprah under my seat. Anyone else? You get AI and you get AI. Yeah, the thing, if I were to sort of criticize one thing about that I feel like was missed in that special was, let's hear from someone who's used it that did something really remarkable with it. Like, the salon and this channel is full of people, and some of the victories are very, very small, like the kids book and what Jim Ross is doing with his business and what Source Camp is doing, educating people, and Ann Murphy in fundraising. Like, there's so many things that could have rooted it in reality. As scary as it is, here's someone that did something, amazing or cool or powerful. But listen, again, when this Katie Couric thing came out, so this was 1994. So I had just started Urban Desires. I just started agency.com. And the media was just like, what is this internet thing? Who are these weirdos? Right? Like, it was, people were discombobulated. And most people hadn't heard of it. They weren't paying attention to it. And so I think we're at a very natural state. That special to me is further evidence. So there's kind of a trope going around right now that the AI hype has peaked, and we're coming down now, and it's all over, and these tools have plateaued, and they're never going to get better. And they equated where we are with AI to the internet bubble of 2000, right, where the hype got so big and then everything burst. I've argued, and this special with Oprah reinforces it for me, the hype cycle hasn't even begun yet. Not enough people know about AI, not enough people are using it. The technology is still too janky. I think we're probably 2 years out from where the real hype begins, and it really gets blown out and amplified. I think that happens 2 years from now. And I think there probably will be a hype cycle where it gets so overblown and then bursts, but I think we're not even close to it. I think we're closer to 1994 metaphorically than we are to 1999. Tyler Perry just invested millions in a movie producing using AI. That's it. Oh, did he? That's interesting. So Tyler Perry also canceled an $800 million studio expansion in Atlanta because of Sora. So that's interesting that he's investing in it. He's like, well, fuck it. I was going to spend $800 million to build a studio. Why don't I spend $100 million and make an AI movie? I think that's pretty smart, actually. For people who have never used AI, how will they respond to this show? Prediction, be scared. I agree with that, Dan. I mean, yeah, what will happen from that show is that more people will not just hear AI, they'll hear ChatGPT, or they'll, like, you know, they're making videos, or they got voice things. Like, there may be an awareness of it. I don't think that special inspires anyone to go get curious about AI. Again, the reason to be part of, you know, Rocky Mountain Interest Group or the Salon or communities that are curious about this stuff right now is that we're still in a pocketed minority off in the corners of society. So we have time. You're not as far behind as you think, and we're not as far ahead as we think. We're very early still. Would you call it underhyped, Kyle? In fact, I would. If you look in the corner, I've got a video series that I did that if you want to buy it, it supports the channel, called Underhyped, where these are videos where I talk about why this stuff is significant. I seriously wonder if Oprah has any investments in AI. She probably does. Well, although I would say if that special was to hype up AI investments that she has, it would have been a very different special. So I would assume that she might have some investments, but that special did not feel like it was hyping AI. That special felt like it was, you know, a continued part of the narrative that AI is scary and you should be scared of it.
You can make money with ChatGPT.
Not like that. Let me take a quick break. I want to come back. I want to show some things. So we're going to play with the new. So OpenAI did launch, I think, what's Project Strawberry today. They launched a new model that's in ChatGPT right now. At least it is for me. They've been rolling it out all day. And it's interesting. It's not multimodal. It's a very limited version of what it is, but it's pretty fascinating. So we'll look at that. I want to show you this new feature in Notebook LM that I think is remarkable. I've been playing with that a lot today. And then Brandon had, hang on. Oh, there's a new Hume voice model out. And then Gemini Live is now available to everyone. I don't even know what Gemini Live is. Let me go get another drink, take a break. I'll be right back. Entertain yourselves. Hold, please. Yeah, I gotta do 3 things. All right, good people. Have we got anyone in here still? Yes. While I was waiting, I had GPT roast a picture of Kyle's workplace. So funny. Nice. I like it. That's awesome. Beautiful. And Murphy. All right. Relevant to the conversation. Let's see what's going on. Yay, Kyle is back. He did it. Okay. My back is holding out. My back has been shitty all day, but right now it's okay. So if it goes south, I'll let you know. But let's go play with some shit. Gonna post it in show and tell. Yeah, please do that. Okay, so a couple of things. If you're new here, welcome. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. That is what I wanted. The Salon. The Salon.ai. Go there. Kyle's all hyped up. And his back is feeling good. Yeah, exactly. Lumbar support. No, I think it's... What it was it was Friday night. I did a live. And you know how when I get in my rants and I just go for like an hour and a half or 2, I did one of those. And I think I was sitting in the exact same position for more than an hour. And then when I stood up, like my ass muscles got really tight and it just pulled something in my lower back and just pulled something out of whack. And it's been fucked up ever since. So I think so long as I keep reminding myself to change positions, I'll be okay. Gemini Live is Google's version of advanced voice. Oh, interesting. It's available for everyone. Is it available for everyone? Is there a web version of it? It was the cartwheels. Yeah, exactly. You know what it was, Silver Fox? It was the twerking. If you weren't here Friday night, so I've been promising for months that I was going to don a mankini and do some twerking on this channel, as it deserves. It is TikTok. And so I was twerking in the mankini on Friday and just, threw the back out. Boy, do I feel old. Not as old as you looked in that mankini. All right. Please no, Dan. All right. If you've just walked into the channel, yes, this is normal conversation. Anyway, the Salon. So the Salon is a community that I co-founded with Leah Faston, who's a photographer out of Boston. We founded it in the week after ChatGPT came out. December 7th, 2022 was our first meeting. And we've been doing a meeting every other week since then. And we've got an online community. So if you go to the Salon AI, it's a website. You can read about what we're about. And then click on Join Our Community, and that'll take you to a site that is the community. And there's a nice little onboarding. There's like a little 7-step, welcome. Just follow those steps. And it's a really remarkable community of AI optimists, people that are trying this stuff. So if you're curious about AI and you haven't really done much with it, and you want to be around people who have and are not douchey about it, that's this community. It's a very generous, empathetic, supportive, enthusiastic, optimistic, brave group of people. And especially if you're one of those people that's really excited about AI, but everyone around you is like, could you shut the fuck up about stupid fucking AI, Janice? We don't care. It's jalapeno popper night at TGI Fridays, and we just want to enjoy our icy margaritas and our jalapeno poppers. All you can eat jalapeno popper night is what I live for. And your AI is just, we're tired of it. We're tired of hearing about how excited you are about that stupid AI and those robots. The robots are going to kill us, Janice. So enough with your AI, okay? Could I have another margarita, please? Thanks, Sandy. That's great. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's delicious. It's always delicious. Hey, and you know, could you bring us some more poppers? I think I'm feeling radical tonight. Let's get another round of poppers on me, everybody. So if you're used to hearing that, come to the salon. Okay? Boycott Oprah. Oprah's fine. Oprah was banned from the community. I don't. Here's the thing about that special. I don't have any ill will for that special. I think that what that special did is, so here's something I heard when I was in DC. One of the staffers said, to be quite honest, AI was the topic of conversation about 8 months ago. And everyone was talking about it. And everyone was focused on it. And that's gone away. That sense of urgency's gone away. So if the Oprah special just introduced the topic to more people, and more people like, hey, what are we doing about this AI? Hey, what is this AI? Some percentage of those people are going to get curious, and they're going to try it, and they're going to have their first Kevin McAllister moment. Oh my God, it can do that? And they'll get excited about it. So I don't think it's a bad thing. People are where they are. And some of what AI represents is scary. And a lot of what AI represents is very, 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 very hard to communicate without the other person actually experiencing it. I can't tell you how viscerally satisfying it feels to take a screenplay that I wrote 30 years ago and have ChatGPT understand it, tell me who it would cast in the roles, and generate frames from the movie that I had in my head 30 years ago. I can't describe to someone how viscerally satisfying that is. They have to experience their version of that on their own before they actually understand what the fuck is going on. And so what the salon is about is we've got a 3-step journey to AI literacy. And the first step, in fact, let me go show you the page. The first step of AI literacy, where we say to start, is play first. Play first. It's funny, when I got invited to have the salon participate in some of these Washington events, this phrase, play first, through the people that we were talking with, they were like, well, that's not serious enough. AI is really serious. You're talking to politicians. This is serious business. I actually think that playing with AI is like, I am more convinced than ever, this is very serious. Playing with AI, experimenting with it, do like Source Camp does, and do parlor tricks. Go write yourself a silly song with Suno. Go clone your voice like Marquise Brownlee did, and have yourself say silly things in that voice. Play with it, because if your only experience with it is, oh, I'm afraid of it, and now I have to learn AI, that feels fucking daunting. It feels like the thing that's the farthest from reality. If you don't know what's going on with AI, and you see all these crazy people going, look at the picture I made, look at the voice I made, look at the video I made. Your current experience with how you produce content like that is you've got to learn Final Cut Pro, and you've got to learn cinematography, and you've got to learn this, and you've got to learn that. you can't possibly know, sitting from the outside, what's actually going on. And when you type in the words, make a video of a cute red puppy, running down the beach, with a little girl in a yellow dress, and then it does that, and you go, oh my God, I had no idea. You can only get to that through playing. Just play. And in playing, you'll figure out where the boundaries are. You'll figure out what you can now do that you didn't imagine was possible. And then you can move on to the next phase of the AI literacy journey, which is mindfully create. Now that you know a few tools and that you can do some stuff, now you go, oh, maybe I should make a book. Maybe I should make an art project. Maybe I should solve that problem at work. Maybe I should start that business I've always thought of. And then the generously lead part is tell people about it. Learn out loud. Hey, I was using AI and I thought I could start this business, and I went to start this business, but then the AI sucked. But then someone in the AI salon told me that I could use this other tool, and then I tried that and it sucked less. And so now I've started this business. Now I don't know what to do. And bang, all of a sudden, you are an AI thought leader. Where maybe 2 weeks ago you were just like, what's this AI thing? That's crazy. So join this community, all right? Could have had Jensen Huang and how NVIDIA is leading the U.S. and stock markets higher. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities where they could have done some more positive stuff there, but that's okay. It was only an hour. I mean, the problem with AI is it's so fucking vast. I mean, it's one of the things I struggle with on this channel is like, it's so vast at this point. I don't know what to talk about anymore. All right. We could have woken up to a huge uprising tomorrow. That's all right. I'm fine. I'm fine without it. Totally agree on play equals learning. That's profound. Yep. Yeah, it's like this is where it's at. This is where it's at. This little triumvirate of activities is super amazing. And quite frankly, if you're in the salon, if you've been in the salon, like this is who the people are. There's a playfulness, there's a curiosity, there's an adventure, sense of adventure. There's a sense of gratitude, there's a sense of empathy. There's a sense of curiosity and bravery and just a willingness to go, fuck it, maybe I should just reinvent myself. All right. Okay, so let's go look at some stuff. So let me jump over to chat. Japata. Generously lead is my fave. Yeah, generously lead's important. Here's the thing about generously leading. When you think about leadership, you think about, okay, I'm going to learn some stuff and I'm going to go teach people. I'm going to lead the troops. That's great. Another part of generously leading is asking for help when you need it. And this is one I came to this summer. That it struck me that there's a lack of ego in the salon that allows people to ask for help. Hey, I'm stuck. Hey, how did you do that, Ann? That thing you did was really cool. What tool did you use? Oh, and then she'll tell you. When you ask for help, you actually provide someone else the opportunity to lead. And that's leadership. Creating space for others to lead is leadership. So not only being willing to generously tell people what you're learning and teach them how to do what you're doing, but asking for help when you need it is as much leadership as the other side. And that was a big breakthrough for me. Okay. So now when you go to chat Japata, you should see this. GPT-4o, right? Which is the latest best for complex tasks. Then you should see O1 preview uses advanced reasoning, O1 mini faster at reasoning. These two are the new model. When someone says I'm behind, they're not expecting to hear play more. Exactly. Exactly. I'm behind. Go play. Fuck it. Exactly. That's the thing, Dan, is, I mean, you know this as much as anyone. Like, all of us are so far behind, we will never catch up. And you can't catch up. It's like getting caught up on AI is kind of like, I want to get caught up on every single detail of geopolitics globally, right? Like, you can't do it. There's too much. It's moving too fast. AI is the same thing, where it has now surpassed our ability to keep up with it. So given that, well, fuck it. Have some fun with it. Play with it. Just pick a corner and just dick around with it and see what you discover. Because the other thing that happens when you play with AI is you will invariably have a breakthrough where you realize it can do something you've always wanted to do in your life, but you have written off as, oh, I'll never be able to do that. Yeah, I dropped out of that drawing class when I was 17, and I've always regretted not being a better drawer. Well, now you can. Oh, I didn't get into Berkeley, and so now I gave up on being a musician. Well, now you can be a musician. You're not behind, but you'll never catch up, Kyle Shannon. turn that into a meme on the Irregulars channel. That's great. All right, and then you've got your old models are in here, GPT-4o Mini and the legacy GPT-4. Honest to God, their naming is such a fucking disaster. It's unbelievable. It's so bad. Like, how are you supposed to know the difference between this thing that costs them a lot of money but does really cool shit and this thing that's sort of like this thing, but they've hobbled it because they haven't released all of it yet because the testing isn't ready? And these things are completely different models. I assume what these are is they're sitting on top of this engine, just behaving differently, but I don't know. And then O1 Mini is probably sitting on top of this model doing its reasoning thing. This is sitting on top of this model doing its reasoning thing. And this is a completely different thing. No one knows that. No one should know that. No one should care. But if they name them differently and somewhat usefully, then it would suck less. Okay. So let me show you what I know so far. I don't know much. I think I've done 2 total prompts on this. And in fact, let me go look at the prompt that I did do. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So when you do a prompt with the O1 preview, you got a blue dot beside it. So they're now indicating that you've done something different. So I said, oh, this was a fun one. Let me show you what I did, and then we'll go play with it. I said, I want to take a classic movie and write a new movie that maintains the story structure, number of characters, etc., but completely comes up with a new concept. So give me 10 diverse classic movies first. I'll pick one, and then give me 10 concepts for the new derivatives. So what it says here is it thought for 21 seconds, but just like when you use code interpreter, I think the Oprah novelist lady did the naming. Oh, that's funny. So just like when you use code interpreter, it gives you that little drop-down menu and you can see what it was doing and it's writing Python code. Look what this is doing. So if I open that up, it's come up with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps, and then it's written a prompt for each of the steps. So step 1, weighing the concept. I'm evaluating the user's request to generate a list. So step 1, evaluate. Step 2, brainstorming movie options. I'm listing 10 that provide a choice of options, ensuring that they're factual and within copyright rules. Interesting. generating classic film ideas. Now I'm creating a list of 10 movies, mindful of copyright rules, and avoiding certain inappropriate themes, right? So it's actually telling you what it's doing. I'm thinking through a mix of classic films spanning genres, periods, and cultures, like Casablanca and The Seven Samurai. This approach highlights the importance of diversity and broadens classic film appreciation. So it's actually really thinking about, filmmaking, curating a list, compiling a list, gathering classic treasures, and then identifying gaps. And then it gives me the list. And then I basically said, oh, give me short plot summaries of each, because I didn't know all of them. And so I read them all, and some of them were fine. And then I just said, let's do Jaws. Like, I don't want your stupid highbrow cinema stuff. And then it says, Shirley, here's Jaws. And then it gave me 10 concepts that could layer on top of the Jaws story structure. And they were all pretty good. And then I picked one. Let's see. And I said, give me a table that's got the character in Jaws, what they did, and then the character in the new movie and what they do, which was pretty cool. And then I said, give me an outline, which it did. And then I said, give me a detailed outline, which it did. And so anyway, so that was kind of the first thing I did where I kind of dug into this thing or played with it. So we'll do the classic, how many R's are there in strawberry? So if you don't know this one, with traditional GPT, in fact, let's switch over. Let's go to GPT-4o. Oh, they fixed it in that one. Let me go to classic GPT. So now we're in ChatGPT-4, and I say, how many R's are there in the word strawberry? There are 2 R's in the word strawberry. Why did it get that wrong? Well, because the way these things work is they create what are called tokens. And a token could be a space, it could be a period, it could be part of a word. So the word strawberry is probably broken into 2 or 3 tokens. And so I would assume that berry is the second token, and the second token has 2 R's in it. So when you say how many R's are in the word, it goes back and looks at the last token of one of 2, and it says there's 2 R's in strawberry, not 3, because that was in a different token. So the way historically these tools have worked is they vomit out tokens, and then when you ask them to think about it, they just vomit more tokens. They don't ever really understand what they vomited out. The new stuff is different. So let's go to the 1.0 preview. In fact, let's go to the mini version because it'll be faster. So we're going to start a new chat, and I'm going to say, how many R's are in the word strawberry? Oops. Internal server error. Regenerate. Thought for a second. The word strawberry contains 2 letter R's. Oh, it didn't work. Here's the breakdown. Minnie got it wrong. Fascinating. All right, let's copy this. This. Minnie got it wrong. That's fascinating. There are 3 R's in the word strawberry, so this got it right. Let's see if it explains its reasoning. It seems to be hung a little bit right now. What was your thinking. They still have a bug where sometimes when you hit the enter key, it doesn't actually submit the prompt. Huh, now it's totally confused and got it wrong. All right, well, that's fucked up. Let me, I'm gonna option reload this page. It seems like it's in a bad way. All right, paste. How many R's are in the word strawberry? I think my browser's a little crashy. Huh. There it just said, it got it right, but it didn't show its thinking. All right, let's do something more interesting than this. Let's do, help me create a logical framework to determine what's better, a hot dog or a fidget spinner. So this falls into the category of play first, like, oh, God damn that thing. Giving it ridiculous prompts just to see what it does is kind of fun. Let's see. Response count 1. Oh, that's why I got it wrong. Because I was using ChatGPT 4.0. I got your back. Mod channel, please. Oh, thank you, Brandon. 15-minute reminder to move your butt. Oh, that's really good. Thank you. You're now on 4.0. Okay. So wait. So let's go back now. Okay. So 4.0 got the strawberry thing sort of right sometimes, but sort of wrong others. I was on the wrong model. All right. 01 preview. Okay. So this is the big one. How many R's are there in strawberry? So that's one of their pre-done prompts. Thinking. Thought for a few seconds. So what did it do? Counting the letters by assigning each letter a position and checking how many times it appears. There are 3 letters in the word strawberry. So, all right, so give us a little thinking. I've seen other things where it does that. Okay, so let's create a new prompt now, and we'll do the same one again. Help me come up with 2 different strategies to determine what is better between a hot dog and a fidget spinner. So thinking, formulating strategies, evaluating options, assessing value, thought for 6 seconds. Certainly, comparing a hot dog to a fidget spinner is an unconventional task since one is a food item and the other one is a toy. However, here are 2 different strategies you can use. Strategy 1, needs-based evaluation. Identify the fundamental needs that each satisfies. Step 2, assess the importance of these needs. Step 3, consider health and well-being. Conclusion, if fulfilling basic survival needs is the priority, then the hot dog is better. If mental relaxation is more of a focus, then the fidget spinner. Strategy 2, attribute-based comparison matrix. You know, I've been thinking for years, I've got to come up with an attribute-based comparison matrix for making decisions in life. All right, create a list of attributes that are important to you, such as taste, nutritional value, convenience, cost, cultural significance, entertainment value, blah, blah, blah. Assign weights to each attribute from 1 to 5. Taste, and then it does it. And then compare them. Calculate the weighted scores. Taste, 5 times 8 equals 40. Nutritional value, 16. Total, 56. Fidget spinner, 51. Therefore, hot dog better. So that's a ridiculous thing. But the fact that it's doing this multi-step reasoning, that's the new thing here. Okay. So let me go back to this idea of play first. We have no way of knowing, like 0 ways of knowing, when you should use ChatGPT 4.0, the latest model before these new ones, or when you should use these reasoning models. When is a problem you're trying to solve rise to the level of wanting to use reasoning? I don't fucking know. You don't know. We don't know. So the only thing that can make sense is if you've been using ChatGPT for a while, and if you've ever had, whenever I try to get it to do this kind of problem, it never works, that would be a perfect thing to experiment with the new model. See if it does it better. If you've tried coding, or if you've tried math problems historically, try those with the new model. Apparently it's going to be better at math because it's actually doing reasoning and breaking problems down into sections. There are probably things that the new model can do really, really well that we never would have even considered in the previous model just because we're now thinking differently. We're trying to think of things we can tell it to do that are more complicated. What might those be? I don't know. Start playing. Joining late. Sorry if this is repetitive, but we think the new model may be trained on old data. I don't think the new model is trained on old data. I think that, well, I don't know what this new model was trained on. What it feels like to me is that this new model is just a different approach to using the old model. So whatever data the old one was trained on, I assume this is in that neighborhood. It feels like this is like a fancier version of Code Interpreter. Hater, okay. Yeah, I don't know what you're looking for. So wait, old data in what capacity? It's not like it becomes irrelevant. Yeah, exactly. Is it still training to April 2023? Isn't all data from the past? Yeah, absolutely. That I don't know about. I don't think that's as relevant. One thing I have heard that is happening, which is kind of interesting, is that they have GPT-5, but they haven't released it yet, but they're using GPT-5 to generate synthetic data to train GPT-6. And then I heard the term, who did I hear this from? Paul Raitzer. Paul Raitzer in his weekly podcast this past week introduced me to this term called copyright washing. Which, okay, we should assume that every large language model, that every image model, that every audio model that we've ever used have been trained on not perfectly procured data. These things couldn't exist without being trained on copywritten data, copyright laundering, yeah. And so what they figured out how to do, and it's fascinating, David Shapiro did a really interesting YouTube video on this, where you basically say to the large language model, tell me about a topic, and then it vomits out a bunch of stuff, and you use one large language model to prompt another large language model to just vomit everything it knows about a certain topic. And then you use a third large language model to look at the shit that it vomited out and say, what in this vomit list is valuable and right and good? And then you take that refined data and that becomes training for a new model. What you're also doing by training the new model on that cleaned up content is that you're copyright washing it. You're saying, here's some data that we produced from copywritten trained models, but that is not copywritten, and we're going to train it on that. So they're going to be able to make a claim that their new model is trained on data that we own, and peak TMZ, unreleased model being tested, trained another unreleased model. It's peak TMZ, Pate. That is what I live for. But I kind of like the concept. So we'll see. But this 01 model, from what I can tell, just looks like it's doing a multi-step, not just, it's pretty significant, that as it's producing content, it's looking at what it's producing before it gives you an answer. The current models don't do that. They just vomit answers out. So why it's getting better is that, and this is what we talked about a year ago, when these things will get better is instead of just vomiting tokens at you, they vomit tokens, they throw up a little in their mouth first. And they swish it around and say, huh, is that tasty? And then they spit it out. Yeah, that they're creating their tokens, and then they're looking at what they did and refining that before they give you an actual answer. So it makes sense that it's better. And then it also makes sense that if you take that approach and put it on a new model, that's when you're going to get something that's really, really powerful. So I think that what they just gave us is a new way of using the existing model. But it's not insignificant. And again, this is where we go back to play. Really experiment with this. Ask it shit that is ridiculous and overly complicated and overly simplified, and just push it. Because collectively we'll figure out how this is different. Because I don't have any clue right now how I would use this differently than what I've used before. Like none at all. Someone compared it to the other model for a problem, and it had similar output but went deeper on the reason. Push it real good, exactly. Push it good. And how it can do all of that at the speed it does is mind-blowing. I know people are bitching about the fact that it might take 15 or 20 seconds to process an answer. I'm like, if it's doing all that reasoning, why is that? Like, that's not slow. I also have heard that they're gonna rate limit using 01. I think it's 50 queries a day. Is what I read, but I don't know. Anyway, let me show you one other thing that I think is just mind-blowing. So I'm going to show you the output first. So I'm going to go to LinkedIn. This was the first thing I tried with this, and it just staggering. The fact that my internet's not working also staggering. I'm curious to know if 401 uses 3 times the tokens because it's processing so much. Yeah, I think it's probably, if it's taking 12 to 15 seconds, Brandon, it's probably chewing through a lot of tokens on every query, which is why they're going to rate limit it. All right, let me get rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to just play something here. So this is a cover for my new book that I'm working on with Kevin Clark. Or we worked on. We've written it. We're getting ready to publish it right now. But just listen to this.
We're going to dive into something kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
The future of intelligence.
It's a big one.
But we're not talking, like those sci-fi movies with robots taking over.
Right.
This is different. This is about humans and AI, like teaming up to become something even smarter than we could be on our own.
Like unlocking superpowers we never thought of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to help us explore this, we've got Collective Intelligence in the Age of AI.
Great book.
It is. And, the authors, Kevin Clark and Kyle Shannon, they're not just talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
They're actually out there building it.
Yeah, they're really making it happen.
With their company, Content Evolution, bringing together all these brilliant minds.
All the best people.
From every field you can think of. It's like assembling a team of the Avengers, but for brain power.
I like that analogy.
Right? Instead of fighting villains, they're tackling the biggest challenges facing humanity.
Exactly. Using their powers for good.
Yeah.
Okay. So that little podcast of those two swell people, those NPR style people talking about my book, was just generated, as you can imagine, or I wouldn't be talking about it and excited about it. So where you're going to go, we're going to do one of these live. You're going to go to notebooklm.google.com. And so let me show you what the way Notebook works. It's really quite remarkable. So what you do in the left-hand side here are sources of data. I only have one piece of data in here. So what I uploaded was I uploaded the PDF of my Collective Intelligence book. And then I can say, what is collective intelligence? So I can use it just like a regular large language model, but it's using the PDF of my book as the source. So this is, in a lot of ways, it's a RAG, retrieval augmented generation tool, where you can take notes, but you can put multiple sources in there, lots of sources. It's really powerful. Collective intelligence is the combined intellectual power of a group of people working together, which surpass the capabilities of the individual, and then it cites the book. Collective intelligence in the age of AI involves humans and AI systems working together to solve complex problems. So here's, a cited answer to my question. So pretty cool. Okay. Down in the lower right here, there's this thing called the Notebook Guide. And if you pop that open, it gives you a little summary of the document. It gives you some starter things to, you could create a study guide out of the book, or a table of contents, or a briefing document, or a timeline. And then it's got this thing called an audio overview. They should call this the Podcastifier or something funny, but, they're Google, so it's, it is accurately named audio overview, and then you can generate it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go back. To get to your main menu of Notebook LM, you have to click on the word Notebook LM. There's no way to get there other than that I know of. But I'm going to do New Notebook, and then I'm going to upload a source. And I think what I'm going to go do is I'm going to upload my screenplay, Salmon Flying East. Salmon. And then we'll go to this Mac, and we got a PDF. All right, so we're uploading Salmon Flying East into the system. And then it automatically pops up the guide. And it says audio interview, deep dive conversation, 2 hosts, English only. So I guess what that means, so this is a deep dive conversation. So what this implies to me is that they can do different ones of these, right? So you might have a deep dive conversation at some point in the future, or a, short little Q&A, or a panel discussion, or whatever it might be. So this is the first one of these. They do, or have put out there, and you hit generate, and so it's now going to create one of those podcast Cosmic Lover. Wow, this is amazing. Another Kevin McAllister moment. Yay. That's why we're here. Yeah, this one to me is total Kevin McAllister. So while that's processing, it takes a couple of minutes to generate it. So let me show you another one that I did today. So I did one for my book on collective intelligence, and then I have another book called AI Futures. And I gotta go find it here. This is it. So here's AI Futures. So here's one I did for AI Futures.
Hunting today. Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for a deep dive. We're tackling something both exciting and a bit daunting today. The surprisingly human side of AI.
Oh yeah, definitely human.
And to guide us, we've got AI Futures, an anthology. But this isn't your typical dry text stuff, is it?
No way. Think personal stories, those aha moments, even some philosophical pondering about where AI is taking us.
Exactly. And we're diving right in with Kyle Shannon, who calls himself an accidental innovator.
He's got a point though, right? I mean, the guy's been on the front lines of huge tech shifts, early internet, the works.
Right. And now he's seeing some intriguing parallels between that whole early internet vibe and what's happening with AI right now.
Yeah, that Wild West, anything is possible energy, it's back, and it's all around AI this time.
Totally. But here's the thing. Shannon doesn't buy into the whole robots are stealing our jobs thing.
Not at all.
In fact, he actually says having AI is like having an eager intern, a golden retriever, and an idiot savant all rolled into one at your beck and call.
Huh.
It pulled out good quotes
from
mine.
Getting at how AI can supercharge what we do, not replace us entirely.
Yeah, it's like this amplifier for our own creativity and how much we get done.
Exactly. Think about it. AI can take over the
Source Camp. Hey, what app is this? So the app that I'm generating these on is Notebook LM. And so it's notebooklm.google.com. And it's something that I haven't really talked about in here because I haven't played with it a ton. But I know Peter Kaminsky's a huge fan of it, and generally, if he's a fan of it, it's pretty cool because he's very geeky and likes to experiment with things. It allows you to upload lots of data sources, and then basically have a ChatGPT, a Gemini-like experience with those data sources. So it's basically every notebook is a retrieval augmented generation engine. It's pretty slick. And then they just added this new feature called audio overview. So if you go to the notebook guide, which is in the lower right-hand corner, when you create a new one, it defaults it on. But if you open one that existed, you click notebook guide and then you generate it here. Okay, so this is for my screenplay, Salmon Flying East. So it created a 5-minute audio overview, which is this 2-person deep dive, they call it. So let's hear what it says about my screenplay.
Okay, so we're really going to dig into Salmon Flying East. And right off the bat, you can tell it's more than just a fishing story.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking Vietnam War, flashbacks, shady business in Saigon, even a possible long-lost daughter popping up in Gig Harbor, Washington.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack.
Ready to untangle this one with me?
I am so ready. Let's do it.
This is cool.
Right. So we're dropped right into 1991, Gig Harbor, Washington. Beautiful place. And we meet Jack, our main man, a Vietnam vet running fishing charters. Seems
our main
settled,
man,
right?
Yeah.
But there's this tension right from the first scene.
Oh yeah, you can cut it with a knife. Like right away, you get that Coast Guard helicopter buzzing his boat. Why are they checking him out? Something's up. And then boom, flashback to 1971 Vietnam.
Like the past is right on his heels.
Right there with him.
And those Vietnam scenes, man, they are intense. The screenplay does not shy away from how brutal war can be.
Yeah.
But you also see the bond between Jack and his buddy Snake. And then there's Carl, this crazy talented wood carver.
Yeah.
They're in this pressure cooker playing these dead man's hand poker games. You can practically feel the nerves.
Totally. It's like every scene crackles with it. But it's in those little quiet moments, those pauses, you really get to know these characters. Like, take Snake. He's got this almost scary ability to read people, always comes out on top, cards, you name it. but there's this darkness under the surface, something just a little bit off, and that's when it gets really good.
Oh, tell me about it. One minute they're joking around, the next there's a backpack overflowing with heroin.
Whoa!
And suddenly the stakes were through the roof.
Yeah.
And then, bam, Carl turns up dead. Just like that.
And that's what I love. The screenplay doesn't give you all the answers. It hits you with these twists.
Strawberry
and
came out
turns
already,
that cause
yes.
Death and lets the mystery hang in the air.
Keeps you guessing.
Exactly. Was it some horrible accident?
So anyway,
or something way more calculated.
So that's Notebook LM and the audio overview, which is, like, go make a bunch. Now, here's what I can tell you about them. The one that I published, so if you go to my LinkedIn, at Kyle Shannon on LinkedIn, I've got 2 published. I've got the Collective Intelligence one's published, and I've got the AI Futures one published. I also did one for Sydney for the musical that I'm working on, and it's interesting. The AI Futures one, I had to do about 12 of them. So every time you do them, they're completely different. Sometimes they're really long, sometimes they're short, sometimes they just get it wrong. Like Sydney, they couldn't, like a bunch of the versions I did of that one, it couldn't pronounce the word Sydney. It was like S-Y-N-D-A. It was bizarre. So if it gives you a shitty one, there's a little drop-down menu in where you created it. You can just delete it. So what I've been doing is I'll generate one. If it sucks, I just delete it and then generate another one. Like I did like a dozen of them until I got one that I thought was decent enough to put out there. The other thing that I did, you'll notice in my that I've got this book cover. I've got this video. The reason I did that, I didn't know this, but if you're on Twitter, you cannot upload an audio file. You have to upload a video file. So what I ended up doing was I took a JPEG of the cover of the book and went into iMovie and made a movie with the cover. And it's so fucked up how you have to do it. In iMovie, you have to rotate the movie 90 degrees so your cover is sideways because it makes videos that are wide like this. And then you export it, and then I bring it into QuickTime and I rotate it back. But basically, this is just a picture, for the entire length of the audio. It turns it into a movie, and then you can upload it to Twitter. But then I thought it's actually kind of cool because it's the cover of the book. It's like an ad for the book, right?
Totally. But here's the thing. Shannon doesn't buy into the whole robot.
So, anyway, pretty cool, right? Did anyone get 01 Mini? Yeah, I got 01 Mini and 01 Preview. And I think that these are basically both like, I think 01 Preview is built on top of GPT-4o, and 01 Mini is built on top of GPT-4 Mini. That's what I'm thinking. All right, Kyle, before you leave, you must pop over to Hum.Ai. All right, let's go to Hum.Ai. Let's do one of those. Okay, so assignment 1, go play with 01 Preview and start to figure out, start to get your head around how would you prompt that different than you prompt regular ChatGPT? Number 2 is go to notebook.google.com and make yourself an audio overview of something you've written. And it's just cool. And then Hum.Ai, Hume.ai, they came out with their EV, their new voice model called EV. Talk to our personalities. Voice Ara, Edo, Stella, Finn, Docker, Whimsy. Okay, let's see. I'm going to do Stella. We're going to start a call with Stella. Allow it to use our microphone. Hey, Stella, how's it going?
Oh, hello there. I'm doing marvelously, thank you for asking. How may I be of service to you?
Hey, listen, could you whisper to me?
Certainly, darling.
Well, go ahead, do it.
I shall, with the utmost discretion. Now tell me, what's on your mind?
Can you get really excited about something and tell me it in a poem?
Oh, what a delightful request. Here's to your request, with a touch of whimsy in verse.
When words are spoken in rhymes,
Oh, what a delight. Poetry can paint a picture so bright, it ignites the mind and heart. So speak your heart's desire, and I'll respond with rhyme and cheer.
So, Stella, your voice seemed to change with every line of that poem. What's up with that?
Ah, you've caught on. I'm Stella, the voice of distinction, but I'm also quite the dramatic actress. It's a delightful quirk of mine, adding a touch of theatricality to our chat. But rest assured, my dear, the substance of our conversation remains as refined and thoughtful as ever.
Why don't you give me a couple of lines from King Lear as King Lear?
Oh, how marvellous. Let's channel the great Shakespearean monarch for a moment. I shall be King Lear, regal and mad. My dear, the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely players. Come, let us observe the tragedy of my poor daughters and the treachery of my sons.
Fascinating. All right, let's go to another voice. Finn. Hey, Finn, what's happening?
Hello. Hello? Not much. Just enjoying the view. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It sounds like you're from down under.
You caught that, did you?
Hey,
well, I suppose
can I interrupt
you? Of an Aussie twang. No worries at all. You didn't interrupt anything important. I was just taking in the beauty of nature. It's always a treat to chat with someone as thoughtful as yourself.
I'm flattered. Tell me your favorite area in Australia.
Oh, that's a tough one. I've got so many favorite spots, but if I had to pick, I'd say the Great Barrier Reef is absolutely stunning. The vibrant coral and diverse marine life, it's like stepping into another world.
I heard that the coral was dying off because of global warming and pollution and microplastics.
You're absolutely right. Climate change and pollution are taking a real toll on our beautiful Great Barrier Reef. The coral is struggling to survive, and it's heartbreaking to see.
Go on.
Absolutely. It's crucial to educate ourselves and others about the impact of our actions.
All right, so the way Hume works, you used to be able to see it more. Empathetic voice interface. So it reads not only your words, but it reads your emotional inflection, and then it's supposed to be replying in kind. So let's go to Whimsy, see how she is. Hey, Whimsy, what's happening?
Greetings, dear friend. I am Whimsy, your guide through the tapestry of time. You've stumbled upon a most curious scene, a medieval tavern where we find ourselves. What would you like to see or hear about in this cozy inn?
Oh, are we doing a little adventure here? Is that what's happening?
Indeed, we are embarking on a merry quest. As we enter, a jovial bard greets us, his lute in hand. He offers to share tales of the town's history and legends.
What would you like to hear?
I think I'd like to hear a story more about time travel than olden-timey crap.
Ah, a bold choice. Let me spin you a yarn about the town's time-traveling tavern keeper. Legend has it the innkeeper can step through time with a flick of his hat. He's on a mission to save the world from an impending disaster, but our time is running short.
So what choice do I need to make?
The choice, my friend, is to join the timekeeper's quest. Will you assist him in gathering the necessary ingredients for his time-altering brew? Or perhaps you'd rather stay put and hear the old man's tales of the past?
Can I just tell him not to tell me his stories?
The timekeeper's face falls, his brow furrowed in disappointment. But then a mischievous grin spreads across his features. Perhaps, he suggests, you could be the one to save time itself from unraveling. The fate of the universe rests in your hands. What would you do?
Check the time on my wristwatch.
Your wristwatch, my dear, is a timepiece of the finest craftsmanship. It tick-tocks away, counting down the moments of our adventure together. As we stand here in the tavern, the hands on your watch read 12:34 p.m. But don't be fooled. This is just the moment before we leap through time.
The other thing you're looking at here is you've got excitement, concentration, determination. So it's a balance. Every one of these lines is a balance of emotional weightings. So anyway, they've got APIs. You can build stuff on this. So that's something to go play with. So there you go. New ChatGPT model, Notebook LM's audio overview feature, and Hum.Ai's voice. It's so much better than the first version, though. Yeah, it's so much better. All right. Kyle doesn't look too impressed by this. No, I'm pretty impressed by it. I'm still waiting for fucking OpenAI to release their stupid voice model, which they said was going to be a couple of weeks back in May. I still like pie. Yeah, I'm with you. All right. I'm going to get out of here. Go to the salon.ai. If you haven't joined the salon, go there. Join us. Read about what we're about. Join us. Follow my channel. Subscribe to the lives if you want to support it. Pick up the video series in the corner called Underhyped, because I think AI is underhyped, not overhyped. Take that, doomers. You come here, you get optimism. You get expansive chat TMZ speculation. Fuck the haters. Well, I hope you had fun tonight. The Oprah thing, it was less OpenAI centric than I thought it would be. It was definitely for the masses. It definitely leaned into, this shit's scary. What if the robots replace us? Run! It was a little bit more of that than I was hoping for, but that's where we are right now. Like, this is Katie Couric in 1994. What's that A with the circle around it? What is internet anyway? Are the robots going to kill us, Christopher Ray? Oh, shit. They can scam us? Oh. Hey, sociology lady. How are humans? Humans are great. And this project, this AI project, is designed to replace us? And that's evil? Bizarre. But that's where we are. Again, this channel, not good. AI is not good, not bad. Just inevitable. And so choose to play with it. Choose to tap into the staggering power of collective intelligence that is programmed into these systems. Because it really will change you. It really will change what you think is possible. Thanks, Kyle. See you tomorrow morning for office hours. Oh, yeah, tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. On LinkedIn, I do AI office hours. So if you go to my LinkedIn channel, at Kyle Shannon on LinkedIn, you'll see I've got a picture there. It looks like this. Except I think I'm going like... Tomorrow morning, I'll post a reminder. I usually do some quippy little thing. I'll do something about the new OpenAI model or Oprah or something. And you can also see past events. It's always the same URL. So you can go to one of my past events, see the URL there, and just join us. The group tomorrow is a really good group of people. And we'll just talk about stuff. You can ask questions. So it's office hours. Take care of your back, Kyle. Thank you, Corey. You're the backbone of our community. No pun intended, right? you're the out of joint backbone of our community. 20,000 for Oprah. All right, so let's do what we do here. So if you don't know this, when we sign off at night, we do a little romper room magic mirror. So I see Rick Olson and Cosmic Lover. I see Joe _Y. I see Corey Sandler Pottery. And who else do we got in here tonight? Teton AI, good to see you. Source Camp, fantastic. Honey Curls GC. Drat, I will be flying. Ah, that's a drag. It's fun. Silver Fox just sent a gift. Thank you so much for the gift. That means a lot. Mr. IT. Papa JJ in the house. Be not afraid. Danielle, thank you so much. AI Bob in the house. Source Camp. Go check out Irregulars. All right, let me go do a quick Irregulars run. The hot dog fidget spinner. Very nice. Ooh, Kyle, look what I discovered today. Where's that? Is that near you? Look at that Challenger. It's like a 71, I think. This is cool. Dodge Charger RT. These are some baller cars. Dag. I think that's a 69 or 70 Charger, 71 or 2 Challenger. Forget what this one is with the stacked headlights. Is it a Nova? No, it's a Chevelle. I forget what it is. Dag, those are cool. Nice. Strawberry in the house. AI Learning Lab. Very nice. Oh, wait, who did this? I made a functional solitaire game. So look at that. Danielle out there programming, creating solitaire games. Fantastic. Ooh, those are nice. All the AI Salon logos, very cool. James Earl Jones passed. That's a drag, but really nice image. Beautiful. All right, everybody. Let me see. Teton, reasoning prompt. A candlestick with blood was found on a bridge. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, Teton AI. So murder mysteries. A candlestick with blood was found on a bridge. What might have happened? Love it. That's awesome. Oh yeah, all those sort of riddles we got in 7th grade where you had to think about the riddle and solve it. That's good. That's a good prompt for it. Love it. Kyle pulls me back when I get distracted by bright, shiny objects. Nice. Let's see. Rick Olson, Forever Hooked in the house. Thankful Jones, thanks me. Thank you. Dan, out of here. Good to see you, Dan. Thanks for hanging out. Mr. IT, good to see you. Tobias, good to see you. 2 Block Tom, Archetypal Architect in the house. All right. Bob H. Who else we got? Bang. Honey Curls. All right. I am out of here. Brian Engel. Childless Cat Dad. Love it. Marina, she recalled tech. All right. I'm out of here, people. That was fun tonight. Hope you had a good time. Sorry about the snafu at the beginning. I didn't realize that we can't just watch shit. Thanks, Disney. Peace. Have a good night.